Working on a weekend like usual. Way off in the deep end like usual. Niggas swear they passed us, they doing too much. Haven't done my taxes.
What's going on, everybody? Thank y'all for tuning in to From the 7 podcast, man. I'm your boy Deuce. We got George Johnson in the house. Always with my boy Stat, man. We got a lot good coming for y'all today. A lot to talk about. Double Cross, right? Double Cross. You can get that at Amazon. You get that a lot of places. But before we dive into that, quick announcements.
Yep, guys. So you can find the podcast on Instagram at From the 7 Podcast. Make sure you follow there. We're going to be posting a lot of content from the podcast there. Also subscribe to Stat TV, which is where the podcast will be posted on YouTube. And like the video as well. If you guys like the content, make sure you like the video so that we can get more engagement and get this out to more people. We also have Stat merch. We got From the 7 merch on the way, but if you click the link in my bio, Instagram, Stat Zay, you can buy Stat merch there. You can follow Harry at _ Deuce West. We got my boy George in here, man. It's a very special episode. It's our first one. Wouldn't have it any other way, man. And let's just go ahead and get to it, bro. Like, go ahead and let everybody know who you are, bro, where you from, and kind of let's get into this topic.
Bet. First and foremost, on my flight out here, I was like, damn, like these niggas, you know, we can talk how we want to talk.
Yeah.
What you do, that's what we here for.
These niggas picked me, you know what I mean? Y'all could have got Drake, LeBron, you know what I mean? LaMelo, which y'all got, you know what I mean? Double Cross, George, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? I salute y'all for that. I took this serious from when y'all first hit me. Like, nah, we got to go make this happen and make it lit. Because like I said, you only get one first, you know what I mean? One first try. Y'all gonna get better, y'all gonna get bigger people, but it ain't gonna never be another, you know what I mean, first. Yeah. So, you know, I appreciate y'all for that. But to get back to me, George Johnson, 2X Cross, that's what I'm going for off social media, the Instagram right now. You know, from Richmond, Virginia, North Side to be exact, Battery Park to be, you know, specific. You know, I would say I had a normal, you know, life of people that's coming from that area. You know, I had a relationship with my father, but I grew up in my mother's house. Me and my one of my oldest brothers, Lamar. But you know, my dad got a bunch of kids. We still figuring out. He getting more kids and stuff. But you know, he had, you know, other sons, and we all was close. We all we was all half brothers, but we all played it like, nah, that's my brother. We ain't, you know, that, and that's how we played it. And you know, I kind of, you know, grew up in those streets, and like that's where I started getting my feet wet, whatever the case may be. And you know, we gonna get to, you know, school, but you know, I grew up with basically a phenom in my house. Basketball was life, right? So, you know, my brother Lamar, you know, think about, he's 10 years older than me. So if I'm 5, he's 15. He was, you know, the best point guard in the area, in the state, nationally ranked, all those type of stuff. And, you know, rankings, it ain't like how it is now.
Yeah, facts.
It was different, you know, how they ranked you or whatever the case may be. But everybody knew who my brother was, and he was a phenom. He was what we know Tyrese Rice and, you know, or, you know, who would be the phenoms back in the day. And so I was the little brother just like hanging in there. So this is who I wanted to be growing up. You know, I ain't want to be no doctor. I ain't want to be, you know, I wanted to play ball like my brother. And so growing up with that, you know, just his energy and what I saw a lot of stuff that a lot of people my age ain't get to see, like how he worked out on his game and, you know, knowledge and access to a lot of stuff that 5, 6, 7, 10-year-olds, you know, didn't get access to. And so growing up, that's what I had. And so, you know, it's a lot. I came in I grew up in a certain kind of pocket where, you know, my brothers and my mom talk about stories of us sleeping in the car and like, you know, we staying in abandoned buildings. But like, I was so young, I ain't remember that. So when they used to tell me, like, you remember, like, we was staying over there off Fendall and we had to open the stove and everything. Like, nah, because I was probably like 1 and 2. That was like lit to me. Like, damn, we like in here, it's like lit. And so, you know, when I kind of was coming up of age and like realizing like what we stand in an apartment. So, you know, it was kind of regular. Me and my brother shared a bunk bed. Like, you know, we saving water, we taking showers together. That was just like how we was rocking. And so that's kind of like how I grew up. And so my mom was trying her best to like keep me out of the hood or whatever the case may be. My dad, like a legend around Battery Park. So when we outside, I'm like in the hood, but when it was time to go home, my mom had eventually got us a little crib out in the West End. So like, that's where I'm staying at. But like after school, I'm in the hood, you know what I mean? I'm in the hood. So like, that's why all my ties and I'm tapped in with, a lot of my friends and everything in jail. Those who I grew up with, I just ain't go to school with them. So that was a weird dynamic. And so we transitioned to from North Side to moving to the South Side. My mom was like, nah, we really got to get out of here. So my mom being from the North Side, West End, not knowing, moving me to South Side, and taking me to Manchester, won't really know better.
Yeah.
And that's when I bumped into, like running with Aaron and Ant, like we had spoke off camera. And so we still, I'm on the same type time. My mom thinking like we in a different environment, but like, we at school, we rolling dice, you know what I mean? I'm trapping this shit the fuck up.
Out.
And but basketball's still my life, because think about at home, my brother now is now he's transitioning to college. He's at VCU now. He's like the lit kid that stayed home to like build up VCU. And so I'm at school, but he at VCU. So like my afternoons just like I'm down Broad with him and with Bo Jones, and we in the gym with them. So I'm seeing that's kind of like my vision point. But at the same time, because of basketball, I had a lot of mentors, like league guys that I was just around just because I was attached to my brother. So I got to see the game in a different point of view. And so I got to see people that was real good that ain't make it.
Yeah.
Right. And so like people that I used to see, like John DeHaga, like this was the best nigga. Like this was a nigga that like going straight out of high school type shit. So I just had access to a lot of stuff. So like knowing that I had to figure out a way to hustle and get money I still had that. And so, my book, and we're gonna get deep into it, I was doing so. I had learned how to sew my 6th grade year, like how to grind and make that. I was always had this kind of like mentality or whatever the case may be. But before we get too deep into the book or whatever the case may be, I want you to talk about like how we even got here.
Yeah,
like,
man. So, and this is why this is a very special episode, and why we have George here as our first guest, because, for the guys that know me and have been following Stat and everything I've been doing since like 2015, it started with training, and it's now progressed to me doing video production and just a whole branding play. It wouldn't be here without George. Stat stands for Strive to Achieve Together, and it's really because it wasn't until my freshman year in college that I had somebody who saw more in me than just what was on the outside, and they saw how much I was willing to listen, learn, and grow, and be willing to help me just understand things that clearly I didn't understand. And for me at that point in my life, I didn't really have a lot of people. Like every time that I would let somebody down per se, they would just kind of say, you know what, we ain't really rocking with Isaiah like that. Yeah. George was the first person that said, nah, it's just a couple things you just got to understand. We got to change this. And it was all mindset stuff. And this was 2010, 2011. Yeah. And this was your senior year at EMU. Now, backstory on that, I mean, me coming into EMU, if I'm being honest, Deuce, me and you grew up playing basketball together, and like up until maybe like senior year, we all thought we was going to make it. Mm-hmm. It's almost like we talk about it all the time, like the way women look at how no matter what they do, they gonna find that guy. Like that's how we looked at basketball. Like no matter what happened, we gonna make it to the league, And then it hit me like my senior year, like, all right, bro, you ain't really gonna. It's not gonna pan out nowhere near that. You know what I mean?
Thought it was going,
And my mom told me I had to go to college, so I had a cousin going to JMU, and I was like, well, my coach told me about this place EMU. It's right next to JMU. Let me go there just for school. And he said, hey, you could try to walk on. That was, honest to God, me coming out of high school where my mind was at, right? And then we ended up meeting through a mutual friend, and just us being from Richmond and connecting, like that was kind of how that started. And like honestly, bro, like I'm glad to have you here now, this long after, because like I still don't even know, bro. Like when I approached you about it, it was just because I was walking through, and everybody that went to EMU at that time, they knew like he in the gym. You walk past the gym, he got the gun out. He making 500 shots and then making like 100 free throws, 200 free throws every day. And like that was all we saw. Clearly you was doing way more than that, but
right.
that was what we saw. And so I in my mind, I'm like, yo, I've always wanted that guidance. Maybe he'll help me out because we cool. We already had connected. Like we from Rich, and we good. Like it's a lock even outside of the basketball shit. And so, you know, even just approaching you, man, it was just crazy because you actually was like, yeah, bro, I'll help you. Like we can do it after the season because y'all was just coming off an Elite Eight run and going into your senior year, and you was like, you know, let's wait till the end of the season. But yeah, man, like that's literally how all of this stuff started, and we're gonna get more into that too. But like, I've been wanting to know myself, bro, just like what, because reading your book, man, and hearing about the journey that you had up until you got to EMU, it makes more sense to me now, like why when you said okay and we started doing the work, why it made sense. But like I never knew, like, man, what was that like, even just me approaching you, because it was no reason for you to like help me, you know. And I think for people watching, the reason why this is important is because it's a lot of people that, you know, especially when you're coming up in sports, you got ego tied to this shit. So you not really asking niggas to help. You already think you good enough, but in the back of your mind, everybody know where they really at. So like, what was that like for you with me just even, you know, coming into it and like approaching that situation?
So it's twofold, right? Because you know, me and you didn't speak over the years, and you show a lot of respect and gratitude for like what I was doing, or the opportunity for you to just get in the mix with me. And so, and the reason I say it's twofold is because like I always just how I was raised and just how I saw how it's supposed to go. If somebody coming behind you, you supposed to like give them all the game. You know what I mean? If somebody hungry for that and want to work and they dead ass serious, that's what you supposed to do. That's just how the world supposed to go. Like, you know what I mean? Somebody come after you, they younger than you, they seeking for knowledge from you in any kind of way, you supposed to give them the game. You ain't supposed to railroad them in no kind of way. You supposed to genuinely give them all the sauce, all the energy that you supposed to do. And so that's like treating the game right. Like that, if niggas that play ball, what you supposed to, like, you know, Kobe supposed to coach up the younger nigga coming in. You know, even if that nigga could be coming in for his neck, you supposed to do that. And so, you know, on my level, that's just how I saw it. And so like at that community that I went into at EMU, won't nobody really before me. But I do want to give knowledge to somebody that was that proud of me. But like in the sense of working out, won't know. So I was like alone, right? And I was just in a space of my own. And we kind of spoke, you know, before how hard it is to push yourself, right? Like by yourself, you know, like, and, you know, it's power in numbers. If it's 10 of us in here, like, come on, that's easy, right? Like, cause we gotta just fall in. But if it's 10 of us and everybody else just want to chill and just, you know, just be out, fuck hoes, like get drunk all the time, it's easy for me to just be like, yeah, it's cool today. Like, I'm going to just be on that type time. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's way harder to be like, nah, I'm going to stay this discipline. So for 3 years before you got there, I was just dolo. You know, we had people just tip in like, oh, today I want to work on my jumper, but they ain't going to be there tomorrow and like the day after that, because it's Friday that day. We got, you know what I mean, we on a different type time. So I was kind of just alone for 3 years. So it was
really started on Thursdays in college though.
Exactly, right. Shit, Monday if you want it, however you want to play it.
Facts.
But so you coming in, you was seeking like, I really want to get better. And I was like, nigga, hell yeah. Like you coming in trying to find a spot, hell yeah, you can run with me. But on the back end, there's the twofold is that you ain't know, like I wanted somebody in there with me to push me.
Yeah.
Now granted, you know, I'm in my I'm in my position, I'm solidified, but just having somebody in there that say they want to work hard, you still, you know, I might be better than you in a certain kind of capacity, but like I told y'all, you know, when you by yourself, you know, and I say I set out to do 10 and I'm by myself and I'm at 9, it's like, damn, if anybody gonna know, right? Yep. You know what I mean? I can stop at 9. But if I got somebody in there witnessing and I'm speaking this to you, I gotta stand on that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, we doing those reps, it's like, nah, nigga, if you wanna push, like you pushing me. But at that point, I ain't articulated like that because I was in my ego type of stuff. So like it was twofold. Everything that I did for you, like you did it for me in a different kind of capacity. So like that's how I viewed it.
And what's crazy about that too, it like going back to how you even started, like Stat started as training, right? And I learned a lot about training, one, because I worked out with you, and because I'm a student of life because of what we worked on and what we did. And like one of the things that I realized when I was doing training was because I always used to feel guilty, like I ain't the type of person that's gonna make excuses, right? But like I said, no matter whether we was working out growing up or not, we all talked about this. Like, we thought even though we was just going to AmFam and just going to the park and we played for the team, like we was straight, right? Yeah. But like hearing your perspective and talking to other people who made it or had a similar story as you, like there was always somebody there that came before them. So like when you say that's part of the game, I knew in the back of my mind that's how it should have been. But I was never one in the position to be that guy, and I didn't have anybody to show me that. So I'm just in my own head my whole journey, just thinking like, man, I know it's supposed to be like, what you're supposed to be giving the game, because there's no way everybody just wake up and know how to do it, right? And it's just crazy the correlation that like with you and reading the book and hearing your story, and then talking to people when I was doing Stat as a training company, it's just like there was always either that person that it was like your brother who was like, bro, I don't care how you feel, we going out and we working, or you had a kid who really wanted it and all that. And I was always a kid that really wanted it, but I was never like, when you have us at the park and you picking your 5, like it was guys that you'd be like, I'm definitely getting him, he dunking, I'm getting him, he doing it. I was just like, I'm trying to win. What we gotta do to win? And I also wasn't working on my game to really understand it. So when you fast forward it to like us putting the work in, like the appreciation for me was just the fact that you said yeah. And it's crazy because we talked about it last night, like, bruh, I came into this like trying to walk on at a D3 school, and I wasn't working out the summer before. Like I was ass. You know what I mean? And you still decided to just offer the principle of this dude wants to get better, this dude wants to grow, like let me help him. And then like you said, it pushed you as well. And I think I caught on to that then. I didn't understand it then, but I was like, damn, like, because if you would have slacked on a drill, how you gonna tell me?
No, right? Like how my word, I ain't standing on my word.
You know what I'm saying?
And what you saying, man, I gotta give a lot of props to the people that came before me, not just my brother, because it was a village of people like Ed Sherrod. Y'all might know, he's an older guy. He played for the Knicks like back in the 80s, 70s.
Is that Nick Sherrod dad?
That is Nick Sherrod's grandfather.
Oh wow, okay, wow.
That's who really was the older elder that like was the big homie to my brother and Corey Alexander. This guy, man, I spoke to Coach like an emotional conversation. He read my book, and like he called me like crying because he viewing me as like I'm like 4th generation. Like my brother was like what I, you know what I mean? Like so when he read the story, he was like an emotional type, and he older now, right? Yeah. But these the guys I was around, and like Corey Alexander and like the Andre Ingrams, like we spent summers. I'm talking about like 5 to 6, 7, 8 summers in the gym. Me, Mo Carter, Bo Jones, my brother Lamar, Coach Rod, Corey Alexander, Andre Ingram, a couple other guys, but it was a close knit at that point in Richmond. Like I told y'all, the basketball community was like closed in. It was like if you was somebody, you in that loop. Like you know what I mean? Like the John DeHagen, we all together every week on Saturday mornings. Like, and that sounds crazy now because that ain't the culture no more. But like this how it went, and I was the little guy that, man, if I happen to get on the court in the 7th game, like I'm just there for that. I'm just on the side dribbling, shooting on the side. Like if for somebody had to leave early, like come on, man, your little ass got to play today. Yeah. Like that's what I was around, and so that's all I knew. And so when I got, I left. That I'm at school and I'm meeting people that that ain't how it was for y'all. Like that shit is weird. Yeah. You know what I mean? It was weird for me.
For sure.
I think going back to, I know it's been a while, but I wanted to share my piece of how this first episode was iconic for me because I was supposed to be at EMU, essentially going with you, right?
Yeah, fucked up.
And when I saw George for the first time, during the videos, and then I told you, we should talk about this off air, but I started following y'all because like I wanted to go there, so I'm like, let me follow my school. It's like it's weird because you know how like little dudes now they'll commit and then they always wear they gear and stuff. Yeah. D3 was a little different. Like you gonna say you coming, but you ain't signing no letter of intent.
It ain't like a moment.
It ain't like a moment. Yeah. So it's like I knew I wanted to go, and this was all before. Of course, I didn't get in, but I saw George as that's gonna be my mentor because that's not what we ever had. We never had somebody. That I'm like, and I didn't even know, bro, but I'm like, this is somebody that's gonna be there. I'm gonna be able to come in and learn from him. Yeah. Like this was the first time I kind of was embracing a role of like, if Dean told me you ain't playing that much this year, you just gonna watch him, I was cool because we never had that person that was even trying to even show us the way. Yeah. So when this, of course I didn't get in, things happened, And then you started telling me about you and George working out. I was living through you at that moment like that. Okay, at least somebody that I know getting the game that I was going to seek out.
Yeah.
So it worked out because you would, bro, just hearing you, and I've known you my whole life. So hearing you express how George was helping you and how George was like helping you mentally, bro, like getting through, again, we always talk about this. A workout when you by yourself, you ain't really pushing through that wall if you don't really know how to push through it.
Yeah.
Like George knew the way because people told him, but me working up on myself, bro, I'm gonna tell y'all right now, I stopped at 9 some shit at times. I stopped at 8 some shit at times. Because if I got to go back to 0, ain't nobody watching.
That's a fact. Yeah.
And like, that's what I wanted to ask you. Like, how did you transition and keep going before Zeke got there? Because you said 3 years you was dolo. Like, was it, are you basing it off of what you was taught and that's all you knew? Like, it's no way I'm gonna stop? Or did you just have that in you all the time to be like, I'm gonna work out by myself regardless?
It was it really come down to just like how I was groomed. Like this was like that extra that space. Think about how many working out with those guys and the level that they was at. I was reaching that wall of like I can't go no more all the time. So like being in that space, just in life, what I mean, and it translates. And I share with y'all how like I realized after basketball where basketball still was relevant because it was the principles and the mentality that I learned in that space. But like before college, like I had reached every weekend working out with these guys, that wall of like, I'm about to throw up.
Yeah.
Oh, actually throwing up. Yeah. And like gotta go past that space. And I didn't know that that's an uncomfortable space for people. Like when you pushing your body or your mind to a space where it's just like, I can't go no more, majority of people gonna shut down.
Yeah.
But like, that's where greatness really like happens at. That's where the true you is at. That's where you really gotta manifest yourself. And like, that's the only space. That's the moment that you gotta be like, this the moment right here. Yeah. It wasn't before this. It wasn't when I was fresh. It wasn't when I was like, it was happy. It was feeling good. The moment of where really success really happens at is in that moment where it's like, I can't go no more.
Yeah.
And so I was so used to going to that window. By the time I got to school, it was like, I'm trying to push myself there every day in any kind of way. And like, I look back now and I wish that I applied that to everything, right? At that moment, it was just like only in basketball.
Yeah.
I didn't do that with the relationships with them rich white kids now, whatever the case may be. It was like, I don't give a fuck about them. I wish I would have pushed myself to be like, damn, let's be friends. Let's lock in. Let's, you know what I mean? Or like, I didn't have that mentality when it came to my books or whatever the case may be. It was like, man, fuck that shit. Like, how can I cheat? Whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But that mentality, I had it in basketball and like working on my game. And, you know, that's what I went through. I'm going to tell a story. I don't know if this ain't even in the book. You know, my relationship with Coach Dean at EMU, that's still my man to this day. But I was operating out. That was my mentality so much that, and I was so focused and I was so like emotion. This shit had became, it was like emotion. Like basketball became an emotion. Like every times I work out, I start getting like tearing the fuck up. Like, cause I'm just operating of just like, I want to be good so bad. And just operating out of fear. And we'll speak about that later. But my junior year that we went to the Elite Eight, I didn't go home for New Year's or Christmas. And I asked Coach. Coach was a big football fan, so you know football games is on during the holidays.
During that time.
Yeah. He on some shit like, but don't y'all hit me like I'm watching my games with my family. Yeah. He had the little TV in his house. He like watching his games. Yeah. But I told Coach, I was like, bro, I ain't going home for holidays. I want to stay in the gym. He's like, what you mean? Like, what you mean stay in the gym? Like, go home and see your family. I'm like, man, fuck all that. I don't want to go to Richmond.
Yeah.
And Coach literally came. It was like an emotion. I don't know what the fuck I was going through, but I stayed at the gym. Like I brought in New Year's at the gym and literally like stayed in the gym, like worked out. And I remember like going through an emotional space and just like, I don't like this it. Mm-hmm. Like this is all like, you know what I mean? And I was operating out of fear because like my junior year now, like what I'm gonna do? Like this gotta turn out into something. And I don't even want to go home. And like I literally stayed in the gym. I remember Coach calling my phone like in the morning, like, where you? I was like, bro, I laid down in the gym and went to sleep there. And like Coach tell a story like after I graduated of like how like that was just crazy to him. But like that's how serious and like how passionate I was about, you know, what I wanted to do.
Yeah. Cause I think too, just listening to what you're saying, man, I think that's the the space that we always wanted to tap into, but we never just knew how because we never was shown the way. So like that's why it's so crazy just to hear you talk about how it was so embedded in you that there was no other way. So for us, when we got to school, if you didn't walk through with George, you was gonna do workout a week before you had to do something because that's what we thought was right. So like going to, you know, in my situation when I didn't go to EMU, nobody ever took in that role that I could feel comfortable even asking because everybody was my age. Like going back to what you said in the beginning, somebody that came before you taught you.
Right, exactly.
Like when everybody on your level, we trying to figure it out together.
Yeah.
And it's like if you say I ain't trying to work out today, I'm like I ain't trying to work out today either. So like I think, you know, the young people that's coming up need to understand and that's why when OGs try to reach out to them, of course we talk about this off air too. They on a different type of time. But like they don't even understand that like that's how it's supposed to be. Like old heads ain't trying to just tell you shit just to just be like, oh, I'm gonna get on this little nigga nerves. They really trying to help you because they see cracks. Like
for sure.
I see a crack. Like yo, this is something that I wish I would have had. Somebody would have told me. And even when we was at like AFAM and stuff, people would tell us that, but they wouldn't show us.
Right?
Yeah.
Like,
that conversation was very short because of they would just say it and then
move on.
Man, these little niggas.
It's like they didn't really sit down and really explain. Just like you said to Zeke. I wanted to wait till after the season because I wanted you to start from square one. Basis. Like nobody was like, I'm gonna take the time, just like you share the story all the time. When Brown or somebody didn't tell you how to do a jump stop. And everybody telling you, Zeke, do a jump stop.
Literally mad at me because I can't do it.
Because you can't do it, but nobody said this is how you do it.
Right, exactly.
So I think that was it. I just think I admire that mindset because that's something that I wish I had and I wish somebody would have taught me because I think, of course, going to EMU, it would have been way different because I would have had that year with you. But just having you to do that for him and then hearing it through him, it's like I still was there. You know what I'm saying? Because we talk every day, so you still apply those same principles. Every day. You don't understand how many times people like, nah, bro, when me and George was working out, this is what and then it's like he applies that to his regular life, and I admire that. So like,
and you know what, to build on that was weird. Keep in mind, I mean, he coming into school as a freshman. I'm transitioning to my senior year. Yeah, I am older than him. I'm older than him. I got more wisdom, but I'm still technically a kid. You know what I mean? Like we still kind of.
But you was beyond your years though because of what you.
I was, but it's weird of like stuff that I spoke into existence because I'm on my back end of the year of my career. You know, at EMU playing ball, and I got opportunities to play, you know, professionally across seas, but it's vague, right? You don't really know. You in a weird space because you transitioning. This like really your first time. Like, damn, now I'm really. It ain't after high school because high school like I'm going to college and it's kind of safe. But now it's like, oh shit, now we gonna transition to something. And I was like speaking this shit, and I was letting them know, like, bro, like, all right, look where we at. We at Eastern Mennonite. We ain't at Duke, you know what I mean? So like. I did my thing here. They probably gonna hang my jersey up, but like, what's realistic? Like, I ain't gonna go to the league. You know, I'm gonna have to do this journey across seas, and the comforting piece. And I was speaking for myself, but I was actually speaking to them. I was like, bro, like, ain't none of this work we put in gonna be in vain. And I didn't really know because I never been in the real world before. But like, it's funny how like life transition and the mentality of like what I was on, and I was pushing on niggas and like making niggas be on, and just that, man, let's hit this wall, and like when we reach this pace that we about to throw up and we can't go no more, let's get through that, because that's where your true character, what you really stand on gonna really show up. I was speaking that then, saying that it's gonna translate. I really was speaking for myself, like I hope I ain't do all this shit for nothing.
Facts.
And like lo and behold, I got into the real world and I was just applying that same mentality. Like basketball had been my whole life, but what I was holding on to so that I didn't feel like, man, I did all that shit all since 5-7 years old. What I was holding on to, like it won't in vain. And the part that I was able to translate to make me feel good about myself that I was like, I did get something. I still got something that's gonna go for the rest of my life was that mentality. And now I apply that to everything. Yeah. Like, it's crazy, like, the girl I'm with now, right? It's tough being around me because this is my mindset on everything. Like the accountability that like.
You speak on that a lot
like
too.
I'm talking about like nut shit that like a known person like yo relax like type shit like
he talk about
that all the time.
Like bro, like we going to dinner at 6.
I hear relax so much because it's like you ain't gotta do all that, but it's like no, it's
bro,
that
that's
serious.
just me, and that's like dinner at 6. Or they like,
yeah,
bitch, why the fuck you coming in here like 6:15? Like what the fuck? What
Yeah,
type
yeah.
shit? What's the accountability?
Yeah,
What like why we? You know what I mean? Like
and you gotta respect time.
But it's an excuse though.
Exactly, but like even like he saying that I did something for him or whatever the case may be. Bro, I got business partners now. Like my best friend, I'm in business with everybody around me. Literally everybody you see around me, we in business making millions together. And I didn't feel like I was doing something for them. It's just like, nah, they want to eat.
Yep.
So like whatever knowledge I got, whatever the case may be, now we're gonna start a business together.
Yep.
Or we gonna do this, like or whatever the case may be. If I'm engaged, if I'm interact with you in any kind of capacity, like this, I'm gonna give you that. Because I'm supposed to do that. I ain't gonna railroad you. I ain't gonna try to finesse you. I ain't trying to get no money out of you. It's just like, nah, like you say you want to eat. I fuck with you. For whatever reason, like I'm gonna give you all the game. I'm all the way in. And the accountability that I got and the hard work that I'm on that same type time.
Yep.
And it's difficult at times because that's literally me. I mean, with my mom, anybody.
You you know, going into your book right now, you hit a wall when you got the EMU.
Facts.
Let the people know, like a lot of people who just see George at the end of his EMU career think it was all sunshines and rainbows, but you hit a wall right when you got there. Like, how did you transition and break through that?
So it's crazy, even, you know, right before getting to EMU. And I don't know, when I was at EMU, it was kind of private. Like, only Coach Dean knew that his transfer had happened, but I almost ain't make it to EMU. And, you know, to kind of leave the book to, you know, I want people to buy the book. I basically was putting together a drug deal, which is normal where we from, right? Somebody called me like, yo, I'm trying to get some, you know, this. Like, shit, I don't have that, but my mans and them got that. And so that happened, you know, like a month prior to me now about to go to EMU. Put together a drug deal, which is, like I say, normal. Introduced my friends, and I went. I would, you know, people go play a union, you know, during the week or whatever back home. So like in the afternoon after they get out of
Open
summer
runs,
school, whatever the case may be. So like I had linked my friends together, and I went to go play with, you know, the small group of, you know, like Luke Mon in there, those group of guys. And after that, I got back to my phone. You know, you taking off your shit, like checking your phone, like, damn, what Jones hit me today? You know what I mean, type shit. And it's one of my friends was like, yo, where you at? I gotta meet you this and that third. And we ended up meeting. He was like, bro, we ended up, you know, robbing the nigga and like at gunpoint at the bank, this and the third. I'm like, what the fuck? And that night, niggas was on, you know, they the news, like looking for my niggas and shit, or whatever the case may be. And the way it played out, the guy that I introduced him, he only knew my name. He was a guy that went to school. He was my roommate at school. And so, you know, if nigga got away and the police like, well, how you know it's like George Johnson? So it played out that like I was getting charged kingpin charges of setting up a kidnap, a gun rob, all this type of stuff. So like it went all the way to court. And so the two guys that actually got charged with the, you know, the shit, you know, they got 4 years and they were trying to give me 6 years. And the only reason I got the opportunity to leave Richmond and get to Harrisonburg to go to school is because they got on the stand and was like, I ain't know nothing about none of the whole shit. So like that small pivot, you know, decision could have rerouted my. I damn sure wouldn't be sitting right here talking about what I'm talking about, because that couldn't have went like that. Yeah. And so when I got out of that situation and got to school, it was like I was scared straight. I was like, shit. Yeah. Like I'm watching these niggas in shackles gone. They gone for 4 years type shit. And so it was a relief, but that mentality, I was still on that same type time when I got to EMU and like freshman year, right? You know, I'm still a nigga from Northside. I'm in a different community. You know, I'm out here with these Mennonite white folks just to keep it a bean. And you know, I started transitioning. I'm starting to come into myself. Basketball started coming around, and I meet a cool, like, I thought she was just white, right? But she was mixed. I knew it was like a different little spice with her, or whatever the case may be. But I linked with her, and like she used to watch basketball. I'm like, you know, me being in Richmond, like, what your white ass be watching basketball? Like, I ain't even white, first of all. Yeah, right. You know what I mean? But like, she different. Yeah. But she Mennonite back and whatever. Like her background, her family is like Mennonite. She of the culture of Eastern Mennonite. Start kicking it with Shorty, get her pregnant. And we at Eastern Mennonite, I'm a nigga. I'm being a nigga, right? I ain't even hiding it. I'm like going to class, wife beater on, like in this motherfucker, like, yeah, what's happening? Like, fuck y'all know, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? I'm walking around campus, like, y'all know where the fuck I'm from.
Hold on, time out.
Yeah.
Was the wife beater loose? You know how niggas
And my shit won't hit him right.
It's a different type of wife beater, nigga,
right,
dog.
yeah, like,
nigga had the tight jaw, or nigga wanted to be
I
loose.
wasn't really in there yet, like, yeah. But so my shit was probably when he hitting right. So I'm, you know what I mean? I'm looking like a nigga, a nigga. And think about this community, right? Like I'm rubbing, you know, I'm rubbing them the wrong way. I'm in this community, you know, y'all know that community.
Yep.
And so now basketball stuff coming around. They ain't really have no elite basketball players on this campus. So now I start getting all this light and this energy. And now I'm gonna get one of their kind pregnant. Oh nah, you gotta get the fuck up out of here, bro. Like you on the ticket now, you on the poster now, you on the news now, you representing EMU.
Yeah.
Like you the face of EMU now. Yeah. And you done came here and got a Joan pregnant. One of our kind.
Took one of us out.
Bro, I'm, you know, I you know, it came down to I'm in a board meeting. You know, they going through. It's crazy. You know, you go to campus, right? Your first day, you signing like paperwork.
Yeah, you doing
like,
all that, getting your keys.
You don't even know you getting your keys.
Yeah.
You don't even know you signing like waivers and like contracts.
You don't know what's going on.
And so I'm in a board meeting with Mennonites, and they like, you know, your first day you sign the paperwork saying you understand that there's no sex on campus and stuff like that. I'm like, bro, I was just trying to get my key to my dorm and shit. Like, I ain't know, you know what I mean? They like, well, you signed it. We got your signature right here. Your mom signed it as well. Like, all this type of stuff. It was like, yeah, we want you to leave. We want you to leave, like, right now. And so, and you know, that's where, you know, my relationship with the athletic director, Dave King, and, you know, at that time, and Coach Dean became strong because they was in there fighting on my behalf. I mean, president of the EMU, like, yeah, bro, you
gone.
Yeah, you gone. And they fought and was like, nah, and gave me my second chance. And so, you know, we transitioned from that, and then, you know, everything was history on the court. Yeah. But that was like
that was the first wall you had to face.
That was the wall. I was just like, oh shit. Like, I remember transition like, bro, this shit over. Like, I'm gonna have to go back to the crib. Like, you know, well, I hope I get like a little post office job. Like, what the fuck I'm gonna, you know what I mean? Like,
facts.
you know, everybody
wanted to go to UPS, FedEx. And shit.
Like, get a little call center job.
12 an hour.
Yeah, you know, everybody had the T-Mobile call center job back at the crib, and all the little jobs. Like, there's gonna be bad bitches there. Like, I can do that. But like, I really remember thinking like that, bro. Yeah. And I was always like the golden child, right? Like almost all my brothers been in and out of jail. Not Lamar, but on my dad's side. And so, I was like, I'm the one. And I remember like how I felt like, damn, like I'm just like, you know what I mean? I done fucked up, just like my dad, just like all my other brothers. Like, damn, I done came, look how far I done got this shit too. And I done did the same shit. And I remember like being depressed. I remember like leaving campus like for a while. And like coach calling me like, bro, just come back. We're gonna try to figure this shit out. We're gonna figure this shit out. And damn, I never told this shit. And shout out to Katie. So like we gonna tell how I got other children too. But Katie, you know, my daughter 12 now. Katie was like my man's, right? And culture is a motherfucker, right? Like if we all from like the same culture.
Yeah.
So like how our parents and our family handle shit, other cultures handle that shit totally different.
Yep.
And so think about Katie. Katie is a girl, she never went to school before. She'd been homeschooled. So her first time going to school.
Even getting out the house.
Getting out the house.
Yeah.
This nigga calling home in a couple months like, I got a nigga from Richmond. I'm pregnant by a nigga from Richmond. But listen to this. This was like you met Katie, whatever. This was like my man. And it was weird because she from a whole different upbringing. I'm from a whole different, but like we just clicked. And you know, I'm on my shit like, shorty, please, you gotta have an abortion. I set the shit up. You gotta go to Charlottesville, this, that, and the third. And shorty had interacted with one person, back her older sister, which is part of the culture, right? That was like who she was close to. And Katie we had it set up, we had it arranged. And she had only told her sister, so her sister know this date coming, this, that, and the third. her sister bucked on her, told the parents flew into town and basically like took her and was like, you ain't doing that. We taking you out of school. You moving home. And like,
we gonna help.
This ain't even in your control no more. Like, and we don't even know who the fuck that nigga is. Like, this ain't even, and like Katie interacted with me like emotionally, like my parents found out.
I gotta go.
I gotta go. And like, I talk to you sometime, like whatever. Yeah. Like I ain't speak to her for like months. And like,
they took her phone access too?
Yeah, like we ain't
and she was still having the baby.
Yeah,
on the
and
way.
like they took her home. Like I ain't, it was just like, oh shit.
She's gone.
Back to PA.
God.
And so, you know, I'm still who I am at school, on the court, this, and that, third, but like this is what's going. So like talk about mental health early. Like I'm like, oh shit. And so like that's how that situation. Like Katie was like I remember her last day on campus. Like it was like a thing. Like her parents were like, no, get your shit, this, and that, third. And she called me crying like, my parents here. Like, well, why we about to go to the junk? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they came like day of and was like, nah. Cause the older sister was like, nah, I can't let you do it type shit. And so that was freshman, sophomore year, like that happened. Yeah. And so like niggas ain't even know like that what was going on.
Yeah.
And so that's the, you know, to answer your question, that's what happened when I first got to EMU.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cause it's crazy, like how do you, I always wanted to know this, cause basketball always been a safe haven place for me, but keep it a buck, bro, I've never been through a situation similar to that. Right. How did you still though, like, bro, after that you still was hooping. Like you was like,
I mean all state and
like what I guess
not,
I want you to explain.
Hooping, though. This dude right here, bro, the stats speak for itself, bro. Like bro really
he was
changed the culture.
He was him.
Eastern Mennonite.
He was him. So I think that's what I would want to know, and I think people would want to know that too, because young players struggle with that. Like you could tell nowadays, like, hey, he going through something. Yep. Like, and it'd be not
turn into a different player.
Not to call on no small shit, but like it'd be a girl breaking up with them or some shit.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. But like, how was you still able to transition when you play basketball, bro? Is it really because of how you were raised and you saw the other people put on a different shift when they stepped on the court? Because that's a lot, bro. And to do that and to, again, talk about mental health, we're going to get into that later. But, like, bro, you turned on a switch when you stepped foot on the court and you still was able to perform at a high level with all that going on.
So, you know, like now we're going to talk more in depth about mental health and, like, my knowledge of it and whatever the case may be. You know, people, when they go dealing with stuff, they do something to cope with it, right? They start doing drugs. They drink to deal with their mental health. At that point in my life, what I dealt to cope with mentally was on the court.
Yeah.
So it spun me into like a emotional, like, bro, how I'm gonna cope with what I'm dealing with is instead of making 1,000 shots a day, we gotta do 2,000. And I'm just getting lost in that space. I'm doing the same thing that somebody just fucked up, lost their job, and just become a drunk. I'm doing this. It's the same emotion, but like
you putting it into the court.
I'm putting it into the court,
you.
and like that spun me into that year. It was just crazy. Like I was like all state with like some UVA guys, like all types of stuff, all conference, all that type of stuff, and people just was like, damn, he got it in. They don't know what fueled it was that piece because. Katie was like it was a weird space. I felt like my friend like carried the shit out of me. Like, damn, why would you know my situation and your situation, like, and you know, like the abortion thing, you know, it's touchy, right? It's a touchy topic. But I was just like, where I'm from, that ain't nothing. That ain't a big deal. Yeah. Doing that shit out, you know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? Like that's just the culture that I'm from. Yeah. And so, you know, that's how I was able to deal with that. I just got lost in the game. And I had all the access to the gym and, you know, all these people, like, rooting for me that I could get anything. And that's what I chose to do. I could have just started getting fucked up with all the frat people and all that type of stuff. But, like, that ain't what I did with it.
Because that's what, me and you have conversations like this all the time. Things will bother us. And I'm like, yo, Zeke, we gotta like, have that motivate us to do something else. Because
that's the skill set, bro.
It's a skill set.
You learn
that's what I'm
when
saying.
you push past the wall.
Yes. Yes.
So look, what happened? Go ahead.
Even us talking to George last night and telling him how we never knew even how to work out and stuff. He looking at us like, what? Yeah. That was a part of my everyday. So like when he got to walls in life, he knew that he can still transition to that. So now with us, I ain't gonna lie, bro. My girl broke up with me in high school. I'm sick. Like, I ain't getting out of bed. Like, you talk about touching
Everything you're
basketball.
supposed to be doing, you like, I ain't doing
it. You know what I'm saying? Like, but to fuel it, like you said, it's like a drug. It's like when people go through bad spaces, they usually go to something that's negative. They usually go to something that's gonna deteriorate them day by day. You said, I'm gonna go in the gym and be lost in the space, and it only helped you, and then it broke down those walls for you. Because then once you got more successful in the basketball court, everything took care of itself.
And this weird, and I'm on the back end and share how it's a pro and con to this mindset. But like, for some odd reason, and this when I figured I was wired different, I started seeking for that moment where like it's fucked up right now. This the worst it could get. Everybody against me. That moment is like I started like seeking for that moment. Like, this is the moment when I show like, yeah. Like, I'm really
show you the best.
I'm really can. It don't matter what you put on me or whatever circumstances I put on myself. Like, and everybody like, damn, bro, you just like your daddy. You gotta go like this and that third. It's like those moments. Like I cherish those moments.
Yeah.
And like we gonna get into my story of like those moments came about and it was like, oh, you know, and the stakes was bigger, right? At that moment in my life, that was the biggest thing ever. Like, I'm about to have a child. That was like this is the biggest moment in my life. Later in my life, I got moments that was way bigger, but early then, it was just like, this the moment. That moment of, if translates into basketball, of like 3 seconds left on the clock. Y'all down 2.
Yep.
Everybody don't want to be in that moment.
Yep.
It's a special motherfucker, you know what I mean? But like, to be in that space, and for some odd reason, I just like, this the moment. This how I look at it.
When you're back up against the wall, that's when you find
A lot of people
don't
don't get that opportunity to have that back against the wall to really show like, in that moment I can be that.
Yep.
And some people get that opportunity once and crush and never get the opportunity to redeem yourself. Nope. And so, you know, those the moments that I just like, I'm here now. This is fucked up, but watch this shit. Like, and like, I always had that mentality, and you know, my book tells like those moments, and like that's how I got through those.
And Zeke tell me all the time. He told me before you got here. He was like, bro, I've seen George take a game winner or a go ahead bucket off the high ball screen about 10 times. He probably made it 9.
Yeah, right,
like,
real shit.
Yeah.
And that everybody in there knew that it was like, we ain't even expecting them.
But you want to know what that goes back to? What we talked about earlier. He's been in that moment by himself so many times in the gym where it was normal. If a motherfucker like me who don't work out, I may nut up for real, because it's like I don't even know how this supposed to. I don't know how it's supposed to go.
Gonna play out.
He like, bro, I've been doing this shit so many times that's like, now it's just people in front of me. But at first, like, he put himself in those positions. Yeah. So like, what's the con side of having that mindset though? What would you say is the negative to have that?
After a while, knowing that I'm okay in that space.
You want to be in that space.
I want to be in that space. So like, I let stuff self-destruct.
I got
you. This was my girl. This was my friend. Fuck that shit. I don't need none of that shit.
Yeah.
Why? How? You know what I mean? Like,
you.
so it's just like, cause I'm cool in that space. A lot of people will try to make sure they keep things in place so they don't have to be in that space. It got to a point like I don't care. Like,
I want to be in that space.
I want to be in that space because I'm a performer. Niggas gonna be like, how the fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so, and I just realized that like on the back, like I ain't know then, but like, because I know that moment, nobody like to be in that moment. Like, let me get in that moment. Like, no matter what it is, like, I got a gun in my head, and we gonna get to, like, you know, like, I get in that moment. What's happening?
You was towing the line.
Yeah, I be in that moment, because guess what? Most of you niggas not gonna be in that moment.
Dog, y'all go out and get this book, man. I'm telling you. When I say, and Zeke can attest to this, when I say I read 50% of it in a couple hours, right? Yep. When I say he was towing the line, he was every other page. I was like, yo, George is some shit again. Yeah. George is some shit again. Yep. So it makes sense because you was saying like you was almost putting yourself in those situations.
Right, like fuck, like yeah. That's
but cool. When you do that, you really towing the line. Like it was like, yo, is George gonna make it out of this? I'm reading like, yo, it's no way he made it out of this. Why the fuck he make it out of this,
bro? The thing about that is this though, bro. Like hearing it and like me reading the book, like because I was there for a little bit of that, right? And like. If we being honest, like it's really for me the way that I like to articulate it in the way that I embrace what you did for me was this is like you push yourself towards the wall because you want to see what you're gonna do, right? And I think people get caught up in what they need to do to get to the wall, if they even want to get to it. And it's not even about, you could do whatever. It don't even matter. It was just basketball for us. Like,
Right. Yeah.
that was what we figured out.
That's what we was at in life.
That's
basketball
what it was. Basketball meant everything.
Right.
And like I said, we came from a place where we didn't understand how to work out. So me approaching you about it, I learned through you just saying, like, Zeke, like, push harder. Like, bro, what are you doing? Like, do this. And I started to look for that as well. Like, it wasn't like I was going in there to mess up, but I was going in there to be genuinely who I was going to be, so I could see exactly where I was at. I could hit that wall, and what you do to push past that wall doesn't matter as much as what you learn from it, because you build a skill set of, if we want to bring it all back around, this book, bro, like I said, I read the book and I was there for some of this. I cannot sit here and tell you 10 years ago I would say George will write a book. But everything that we talking about, when you hit a wall,
2 years ago, I was like, I ain't gonna write a fucking book.
You know what I'm saying? And the proof is in the fact that everything that we talking about, when you hit that wall and you push through, in the skill set that you understand, you just, like you said, you almost self-destructed stuff, because you wanted to really see, like, let's take it to that level.
Yeah, right.
That's why you have a book now, and a lot of people might have saw that. The way you even rolled it out, like, it was so strategic. Correct. Because we were so strategic in our approach to life when it was just basketball as the vehicle. Right. And like you said last night, the stuff we was tripping on then, man, the lockout, I can't even, I'm trying to go overseas. You think about that now, you're like, I really was worried about that.
Right, yeah, that was a thing. Like, that was,
you know what I'm saying? But because that wall was there then, and you was like, hey, bro, what we gonna do now? Yeah, right. And then you did the next thing, and then you hit that wall. You did the next thing, and that's why you get the book, because you have so many walls in there. Like you said, it's so many walls in the book where it's like, you really reading it and you like, bro, I'm still got half of the book left, but it's supposed to be over right now.
Yeah, not
the book about to be over right now.
How do I still got 30 pages?
How is this still? I'm a third through the book. It's he's done.
Yeah.
Because he hit that wall and he pushed past it. Like I said, my biggest thing that I took away from this, and that I want people to take away, is you get a skill set in that. Because if you look at what we did on paper, again, everybody who went to school with us chalked it up to like, why are you doing this, bro? Mm-hmm. What's the point? I didn't even know what the point was, especially when it didn't work out. And then when I got out of that dark space, it all made sense, man. Yeah. And that's where the appreciation comes from, is that, bro.
And I think too, like, going back to what you just said real quick about people not knowing how to get to the wall, I think people don't want to get to the wall.
For sure.
Right?
Run from it.
Yeah, people don't want to get to the wall. And to shed some light on you, Zeke, to make George such a pivotal point in your life, and you spoke on this, bro. I've been with you, again, for your whole basketball career since Beulah, right? You didn't want to go to a wall, but you always would hit one, right? But what George did was showed you how to break through it.
Absolutely.
Because, bro, like you said, going through the hallways of Meadowbrook, I could take your spot. That's a wall, bro. Because mentally as a kid, you like, man, what? And niggas was saying that
especially
a lot,
when
bro.
It was only saying it to me.
Exactly.
I'm
like you was
what?
like you was always supposed to be the person that somebody always can look to and be like, question, why is he doing this or why is he doing that? So when you got the EMU and you met George, you still faced that wall with the other players, but he showed you how to break through it. So then when you left school, and like you said, you was in a dark place, the only thing that you can attest to is when you met him to break through the wall. Because if you don't meet him and you go through that dark space and you're at that wall, we don't know what can happen, to be honest.
Fact, yeah.
Real talk. So it's like people don't want to go to that wall. And I think what's good about us doing this podcast is, bro, we at a wall right now. Yeah. Like, we at a wall, bro, and we still getting up and we still grinding. We have conversations all the time about, bro, let's do it. Like, we not in everybody's in a position where if I do this, even when we brought up the podcast, we didn't know how we was going to actually execute it financially. Yeah. Some people be like, I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm not even going to go. That's not going to the wall. We walk to the wall like, all right, now we got to break this bitch down.
And right. And so that's why I'm saying, like, that principle, basketball was our life then. We didn't know about entrepreneurship. We didn't know about the job, how that works, whatever the case may be. And when I say stuff convert and it translate, is because, let's use you guys for example. Or anybody, when I meet people like, yo, I'm starting this and, this, and the third, I'm interested because I know that on their journey, if they open a hot dog stand, it's going to get to a point where you can't figure out how you got the funding, how that's going to make sense, how you going to make it work, how you going to find customers. That's a place where a lot of people be like, bro, fuck that, I'm going to just get this McDonald's job and you know what I mean? I can't figure that out. It can't happen. Straight up. Like, you know what I mean? So you guys transitioning here to do a podcast, you know what I mean, y'all in the city, y'all mamas and daddies ain't, y'all can't retreat nowhere. Y'all can't just like, it's like, nigga, we going here, we could lose it all, be fucked up. Gotta jog back to Richmond from Charlotte. Like, I like that type of shit. When I like, hell yeah. But the things that I'm saying, like, all we used to could relate that to at that moment in our life was like, was motherfucking, I'm exhausted. I can't make one more shot. Where you gonna find it inside yourself to motherfucking get that done? And like, that's the space where I was like, nah, it's gonna translate, bro. And it translate all the way across. The accountability. Zeke, bro, we working out at 3. You could be drunk, you high as a bitch, you with shorty right now, whatever the case may be, you gotta figure that out. Yep. That's real life. That's real life. I got companies right now, payroll $40,000. It's Thursday, that shit gotta be submitted by midnight, so them motherfuckers get paid on Friday. I'm 20,000 short. That's a wall. What we gonna do? I ain't gonna tell a nigga. Them niggas gotta pay their kid, all type of shit. Like, we gotta figure that out. Yep. But the mentality that I with basketball was just like, nah, like, I'm gonna figure this shit the fuck out.
That's I'm about to throw up.
That's gonna throw up, but like, nigga, we gonna get through that motherfucker. Yep. And like, that's why I translate, bro. But, so to bring that shit into real life, like, right? This ain't make the book. This didn't make the book. Me and my nigga Aaron, I wanna make sure, because I don't shout him out enough. We left Richmond. It's in 15, 16, and we moved to Houston because I had a dream to expand. I had a partner that put the idea in my mind, but to take my mental health company to Houston. We was able to get a contract, this and that, third. Bro, me and Aaron was basically Airbnb-ing for like a year and a half. So just think about where we from. Niggas in Richmond just like, y'all in Houston is lit. Y'all fucking having shit. Bro, me and Aaron living in a 1-bedroom Airbnb. We moving Airbnb month to month, week to week, figuring this shit the fuck out in Houston, Texas. And our mama ain't there, our dad ain't here. So, and this is a story that y'all ain't know when y'all was like, y'all came to Charlotte. Cause like, I did that. Me and this nigga eating Little Caesars Hot and Ready's. Like, a year and a half straight. My nigga, we was in Houston, Texas. One of the spots we was staying at lost the air condition. In Houston, Texas.
Hot,
y'all niggas ain't never lived in Houston, Texas, but no air conditioning almost. Is that some illegal shit? Yeah. Like, I'm no homo shit. Niggas walking around there drawers, damn that naked. Motherfucking. Still sweating. I had a girl come out there. I was like, this ain't the weekend. Shorty like, no, I gotta come this weekend. I'm like, this ain't the weekend.
Yeah.
She got there. She's like, how the fuck are y'all? We literally in that motherfucker, everybody ass naked. That's how we was moving. And like I told y'all, like, niggas saw like, oh, we might be on Snapchat. We in Onyx. Nigga, we in Onyx before 10 because Onyx free and the wings $5. Yep. Nigga, we gotta come this bitch to eat, my nigga. But we just having that Onyx and it looks sweet.
Yeah.
But in reality, that was our reality. And so like, we was pushing through. And like, you know, my nigga Aaron, that's been our nigga since 6th grade. But like, I knew this nigga gonna run with me. And like, what y'all doing, like, y'all like me and Aaron, cause like, nigga, we might have to eat noodles tonight, but nigga, we thugging it, and we gonna make it look like, you know, look like something.
We out there,
and motherfucking, you know what I mean? We gonna put our shit on. This shit gonna be hitting right, and we gonna keep pushing. Yep. But like, we gonna thug this shit out. And now, you know, in a year and a half, you know, that company brought in $3 million, and so that's hitting that wall. And like, nigga, we gonna keep pushing, we'll keep figuring this shit out. I'm gonna keep calling, I'm gonna keep pushing, and like, that was basketball. Aaron was with me with Corey and Coach Sherrod on the court. We went to Harris together. He went to Evangel together. But like, it literally transitioned to business. We was out in Houston eating Hot and Ready's, grinding the fuck out. He on the blow up. We went to Walmart. We had a piece of money together. Like, bro, like, I gotta get the room and shit, you know what I mean? Like, I got a little bit more bread, so like, you gotta take this, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He in the kitchen with the blower bread, having shit though, like, getting this thing off, knocking shit off. Having shit, bro, like, we got, bro, I'm a lot of you, he gonna comment, I stepped this, and he gonna be like, nah, no bullshit. I'm talking about having shit, but like, you know what I mean? We figuring this shit out. I'm in the room, shorty coming in like, yo, man's like, don't worry about my man chilling. You know what I mean? Like,
man in the kitchen.
Yeah, we like in the kitchen. I'm talking about, I'm hopping over him in the joint. I'm gonna get a water. Like, that's how we was living. Yeah. He gonna stamp this when he see this. But like, that was us figuring it out. And I mean, you know, y'all niggas doing it way better than how we did it. You know what I mean? We had roaches, my nigga. I'm talking like, oh, like, my man no blow, that shit crawling over my man. Like, I got you, my boy. Like, type shit. So like, it translated though, cause
sure.
he was on the same principles I had, cause he was groomed like I was groomed.
And that's why who you around is so important, man. Like you got to get to a point where, you know, it's two sides to it. You're gonna see who you are when you hit that wall, but who you got around you gonna really determine, like, cause you could have a dude around you that might hit that wall and he might not know how to bounce back. But if you got a nigga like G in his corner, he gonna show him those things that's gonna do that. And thankfully, I didn't get to a point where I burned myself out hitting the wall before I got to him. But again, it's like everything became easier. Hitting the wall after learning what I did from him, it didn't hit the same as before I knew. You know what I'm saying? I think a lot of people go through life.
Every time you get to that space, it's like
you know how to get past it.
I could look at Ronnie and be like, nigga, me and Ronnie been in some goddamn niggas got fucking shotguns on us and shit like that. And we like, nigga, we comfy right here. Like, what the fuck we doing? So like, same when we was like, bro, we fucked up. We in Little Caesars, but like, nigga, we here now. Like, what we doing? Yeah, I know my nigga running with me. He know I'm running with him. Like, and I got his best interest. So like, we got a dream and like, let's go. But
I think too, to put a visual picture when people watching this and listening, you can literally say, Zeke, to use you as an example, you've hit walls before you met George, and you did not know how to tackle them. Like, you did not know how to break down a wall. Yeah. You met him, he was like, bro, this is how you break down the wall. You hit here, you hear it, the wall gonna come down. And those, not, of course, those basic steps, but you just keep going, right? And you're gonna finally eventually break through. That's the message that people get, that people need to get, is because regardless of how you live your life, you're gonna hit a wall. It's gonna be some form or fashion you're gonna hit a wall. Right. If not, what George said in the beginning, you're gonna be in a comfortable space that you really don't want to be in. You're gonna be at T-Mobile call center. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a comfortable space. I don't want to hit no walls. I'm gonna stay right here. But how much are you gonna really get and really elevate in your life? For what we doing, to piggyback off what George is saying, is like, we didn't have a blueprint, bro. We really came into this space. I saw it and said, yo, this is an opportunity. We didn't know how we was going to do it financially. I called you. You thought about it and heard about it. And in the split second, you was like, let's do it. And I was like, bro, we got to do it right now. That was a wall itself. Because, but think about all the hoops we had to do to even get here.
Because when I said let's do it, I was not expecting you to say we got to do it now. I swear to God.
I know you wasn't. I ain't even hold you. George, I swear, look.
I'm thinking, let's do it. We got 3 weeks to get some bread.
Hey, bro, I heard it in his voice. He like, wait, today? I'm like, yeah, bro. Like, right now? Gone. Right, But like, that was a wall itself. When we got here, we got in. It took us a while to get in, but we got in. People still looking at us kind of funny. We still hitting these walls, but now we kind of embracing it. All because of when you met him. You showed me how to break through some walls. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Like, just our conversations, you showed me how to break through some walls. I had to break through some small walls before, but it all stemmed off of what you told me, that George taught you how to break a wall, break through a wall. Sure. So like, that's why this first episode is iconic, bro, to have you on. That's why he said, and he not lying, we wouldn't have it any other way, bro. We wouldn't have it any other way, because regardless of how much you know, you helped me without even being in that space. And we kept laughing about it last night, like, damn, bro, you wish you came to EMU. I wanted to come. And it's like, it would have been even crazier, but it's like, you still, what you did and how you live your life and how you applied your principles rubbed off to somebody that was close to me, and it still got to me. So I still got the message
to achieve together, right?
You know what I'm saying?
And, to move it forward, bro, like, we talked about, this started with you talking about the wall you hit even getting into EMU. And like I said, you read the book, bro, and it's like, after that, you thought it was done. The book was over, but you still you holding the back of the book because you reading. You're like, hold on.
That was just the beginning of the book.
And let me just put it in perspective, bro, because it's a lot of things in this book that we want you to talk about, that we talked about off the camera. And the next wall that you hit, man, like when you talk about hitting a wall in anybody's life, the wall that you hit with dealing with the federal government and your family, like, those two don't even supposed to go in the same sentence. Right? Yeah. And let's talk post basketball, and it's like,
so but before post basketball, because so that was MU, and we went, and hopefully they're gonna hang my jersey up.
Yeah.
It was another wall you had to break through before that.
Because I had basically signed to go play in Slovakia. Mm-hmm. I remember being with my niggas.
That's facts.
We going to work out at Ben Gym. Ben Gym was brand new then. And we had a summer league game that day. So we was going to work out before the summer league game. And I had signed out. My agent was like, I got you a deal. And I want to nip this shit in the bud right now, because a lot of niggas be playing on, well, I'm going across seas, and they play on that on social media and like with the bitches, and niggas be thinking they lit and all that type of shit. My deal, I can't speak for everybody, but I know a lot of niggas deal. My deal was I would get like $700 a month. It was some incentives if I averaged a certain amount of points, I get an extra $100, shit like that. I was staying in some little Slovakian nigga basement, you know, like a team host type
host
shit.
families love.
And I was gonna be in Slovakia, nigga. Ain't no sun over there like that, nigga. So I want Reese to come speak on just the cross. Now his shit was set up a little different, but like his pay scale and shit. But just the journey of gotta leave home and you living in a different, you know, world basically.
Sure.
But so. You know, that had happened, and that's what was set up, and I was ready to go. And my nigga Keith, you know, my nigga Ben, we got What You Need together. We got other businesses together. He had graduated. We home in the city, celebrating the night in. Me and another nigga. I already told y'all who the pussy was. We dip off walking with some girls, and we cut through an alley, and you know, how the city goes, some niggas walk down on them. Won't mind none of my business, but, you know, they interacting, so I'm hitting the corner, about to walk back up to where the car is. And we deep, but in this moment, it's just me and him. It's like me, his little brother, my Sel, Keith, his cousin, and like some bitches or whatever case may be. And the niggas walk down on him, and I could tell the interaction was kind of weird, but, you know, it ain't my business. But then I could tell, like, nah, niggas trying to rob him and shit, like, you know, that type shit. And so, you know, just certain rules and principles of how I was raised from, you know, and that's just how we go. Like, damn, we is outnumbered, and this shit looking real. Niggas might have shit on them. We skinny. We ain't got nothing on us, but we here, and like this a moment.
Yeah.
I ain't look for this. I ain't want this, but like we here now. So this where your true character, your true morals, your true like what your nuts looking like right here, like type moment.
Yeah.
And like. I run down into the shit. And in that moment, like and I articulated to you guys, in that moment, just say if you in a group and somebody start running towards you, everybody gonna look that way. And so in that very moment, the nigga that I'm representing ran the other way, like up the block. And so it's like this transition, like that nigga running at me, running down like, oh shit, like, oh, like, that nigga done ran. And these niggas like, nah, what the fuck you doing? Like, gun at me type shit.
Yeah. So you had ran all the way up.
I ran all the way up, like, now what's happening?
So it wasn't no turning back for you
like,
either.
And niggas whipped out on me.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So I'm like, type shit.
Yeah.
So I remember I had my Grinches, I had the Kobe Grinches. They were brand new. I had like
fire.
And y'all from the city, I had some cargos on, the shorts, like the army for the default jump.
Okay, everybody had
them jump. But the pockets down here. And
I already know what summer you talking about.
The rope belt.
Yep.
Right, you already know how I'm having shit, right?
Yeah.
The rope belt. But I had, me and Keith just graduated. So I had like I'm having shit. I got like $500 in these pockets.
Mm-hmm.
iPhone, and I had some little baby shit, probably, I don't know, whatever, on my neck. Nigga like, nah, come up off all that shit. So me, with just my pride and like who I am in the city, I'm like, it's 5 of these niggas. Somebody gonna see me and be like, man, that's G, like my bad type shit.
Yeah.
So in that moment, I'm fucked up. Like my nigga just graduated, so we turned the fuck up.
Yeah.
I'm drunk, so my nervousness ain't, but like, I'm drunk, so I ain't in my normal state. So I'm just like looking at niggas in their eyes, like kind of like y'all niggas don't know me. Fuck around with y'all niggas like type shit.
Yeah.
After a while, we're like, nah, I don't know none of these niggas. And they don't know me.
Yeah.
So, and it was weird though, right? Cause like, I'm 5'9", like I'm taking my 5'9", 160, whatever the case may be. They was all little niggas.
Okay.
In normal situation, out of 5, it's gonna be a couple of big niggas, but they all like 5'7" and shit. So, I'm like working out. I'm like, I'm me. I'm like fit. I'm like, I beat the shit off all these niggas. Like, right how I'm feeling today. Like, I'm feeling good type shit. So, nigga pull out the gun. I'm like, it's different little dynamic now. So, niggas like, give your phone and shit. I'm like, y'all nigga on my phone? Boom. Nigga hit me with the pistol. Hit me in the side of my mouth. I'm like, okay, this shit going. But I'm still kind of stalling because I'm with some shitter niggas. So I'm like,
hopefully somebody gonna come through the hard.
Like, don't do what I did.
Yeah.
But you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
ain't never come. They was parking like they chilling, doing what you do after the club. I'm in some shit down here down the block. And so nigga give me the gun. So niggas start fighting me. So it's 5 niggas. One got a pistol. He kind of stepped back, and the other 4 niggas like hitting me. And I don't know if y'all ever got to fighting with 4 niggas. All that all that go out the window. You just in that bitch.
Yeah.
So, but I guess they little. So like I'm hitting niggas like out of fear and whatever, and your adrenaline running.
Yeah.
But so I guess I'm doing a lot, and I knew in those situations you gotta pick and choose. Like you just gotta attack one nigga and just kind of get up in him and like whatever case may be. So the little niggas, I like grabbed them and like I'm kind of like on top of him. Niggas hitting me, but like I'm in the nigga.
Yeah,
like, you know what I mean?
yeah.
So I'm kind of protected, whatever the case may be. Niggas hitting. I mean, it hurts,
Rib,
but like
rib shots.
I ain't just like
Yeah.
And I remember hearing the nigga with the gun like, man, back up, I'm about to just shoot this nigga. And so I knew I had to like get up and try to like run. And so I kind of got up and run. And that moment, I can't even take y'all to that moment when I got up and run. It's like
You just knew you was gonna
running,
hear.
I'm just like, oh, Ricky shit.
Ricky shit.
Yeah, Ricky like a
Ricky,
motherfucker,
yes,
like,
yeah.
like I know.
You know what time
like,
it is.
God
You said,
damn.
"Ricky!"
Yeah, like I just graduated. I just signed to go play
God
my little
damn.
bullshit contract. I'm at my nigga, like,
That's
like,
it.
but I get up the street and niggas had saw me and grabbed me like, damn, my lip bleeding, and like, I'm like, oh shit, like.
Yeah.
Niggas ain't, and you know, them niggas, I turned around, them niggas was like scattering the way. Niggas like, what the fuck happened? I'm like, shorty. Like,
Yeah.
they like, what cuz at?
Yeah.
And I'm like, bro, man, fuck that nigga type. So they calling him. He done came up with this story, make a long story short, nigga just ran, right? Like just left me and I came to him. And you know, to speed up the story, I got out of town because now the streets tapped in, like kick in, right? So now, you know, the shit I'm tapped in with, my niggas like, nah, we gotta figure this shit the fuck out. And so, you know, I mean, years in the past, niggas got to the bottom of that, nigga handled that shit, like on some street shit. But the whole thing was like, you gotta get out of town because if something happened to them, you gonna get attached to it. So I'm in Harrisonburg. So I'm back on the grind. School is out now, right? But I still got the condo. I'm working out, preparing to go work out, to go cross seas, to get ready to go cross seas. Get back to school, Mike, the trainer. I'm in the gym by myself. Nobody's on campus. I'm working out. I always used to have extra tape because, you know, my fingers bad as a motherfucker, right? And so I'm working out and my thumb sore. So I'm like in the gym by myself, like, let me wrap my thumb up because I still got to get my shots up. I'm struggling, like, what the fuck? Like, what up? And so, like, Mike was coming in doing, like, some end-of-the-year cleanup type shit. I'm like, yo, Mike, check my thumb out. And, you know, he always come, like, you know, doing shit. I'm like, hold on, like, you know. And he like, damn, what's been going on? He could see my lip was busted. I was like, oh, you know, I want like, nigga, I was in the goddamn
I'm street fight, man.
Like, man, I fell and shit like that. And he looking at my thumb. He like, he trying to be potty. Like, man, I'm gonna call my friend that you got to go to UVA right now.
How far is that?
UVA is like 45 minutes. Like, yeah.
So you had to drive up there.
Yeah, so I drove up there, and so, you know, get to UVA, they do an MRI, junk torn to the point where your thumb is your bone and your ligaments. The ligament is totally the only thing that's keeping this right here from not going here is the ligament. But you wouldn't naturally do that, and it would hurt if you did that.
Yeah.
So he numbed my hand, was like, look, and like I can't feel it. He taking my thumb, touching my forearm.
Ah,
like
golly. I hate that type of shit.
and I'm just like, he like, your ligament gone. Like it's gone. You're gonna have to get it attached. And then he was like, you know, what plans you got? I was like, well, I'm about to leave in like 4-5 weeks to go. He was like, yeah, that ain't gonna happen. And so like in that moment, think about what just happened over this 3-day span.
And
I'm
the
realizing
lockout happened too.
Yeah, I'm realizing like I ain't gonna, you know, I can't, you know, like cross these things. Like that's in a moment. Like if you find another nigga, like okay.
How was that? How was that conversation with the coach? How did you told me you just couldn't come? Like, or did your agent have to?
I had to tell my agent. My agent ended up just dropping me. He was like, bro, like you can't, like what happened? Like, you know, he just was like, I just like holler. It was it. He just like, damn, well, you know, I want a big. I ain't go to Duke, so it ain't like, oh no, I'm gonna get some other. It just like that was your one. The whole thing was like, we get this job, you got to perform, because after this we'll get you another contract. It was like this your one. They gonna give you an opportunity.
This your foot in the door.
Yeah, this my foot in the door, and like that was just that.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, think about, y'all play ball. You had an opportunity to really get your foot in the door, and like that was just gone.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I don't know, like, you know, I transitioned that's where I just was like, damn. And I was able to still play semi-pro when I got healthy on that Richmond Elite team, but that was short lived because I just started realizing I always had an entrepreneur mindset. That $50 a game, I'm the little nigga riding in the van, got to a point like, yeah, this shit ain't.
This
You know what I mean? Like, this shit ain't it. And, I was grateful for the opportunity with, Richmond Elite, but it just was like, I'm way past this shit at this point. Yeah. And so that's when transitioning into, working for, my brother. I started working for my brother. And so now I'm still, I'm in the real world now. I'm working for my big brother that I spoke about. He now, his career is over. He went and played cross seas. He did some coaching stints. He coached at State, Hargrave. He did some Longwood. But now he had entered into the business world. And so I was like, he kind of was like on some big brother shit. Like, nigga, come here, man, work up with me. I'm like, damn, all right. And we in D.C., it's lit up there. So I'm like, I figure this shit out. And that in itself is when, I started getting my rude awakening, like the world. And if you understand the window of 10 years, right? So when you 5, your big brother 15, he can't do no wrong. Like, and your character.
You're Superman.
Yeah, you're Superman. And like, you him. Like, in the space that I want to be in basketball. And so at 5, you're not judging niggas' characters and morals and principles. We ain't really got none. We just out here chilling and shit, playing the game and shit. And, you say you 10, he 20. I'm 10 years old. You in college. Like, we not on the same level. We not really man to man. I'm still a kid. You're a man now. It wasn't until I got out of school and now I'm living with, he's a man. He's 32. I'm like 22, 23, or whatever the case may be now. And it's like, I'm grown now. I got my morals and principles, how I handle life and, like, the mentality that I got. And he wasn't who I thought was who I thought he was my whole life. And you don't notice until, like, nigga, I'm a grown-ass man. You a grown-ass man. We eye to eye. And now we living in a real life. And I'm seeing how you live your life and how the decisions you making and how you handling people. And that ain't how I'm on. Yeah. And, like, I don't like the people calling me a little brother no more. So that transition just went left, man. And, just the life. And I tell it in the book. We in D.C. in a stadium. That was the spot then. Yep. And to see my brother, who was just like everything and who I wanted to be growing up and like the life that he was living, it was just like, damn, you kind of whack as a bitch. Not even on some like how you dress type shit. It was deeper than that. Just like how you handling people that work for the company. Yep. And like on a Monday, you just fucked up at 3:00. I'm sleep. You bringing bitches in the house. They coming and wake me up. I'm just like, I ain't on that type of time. I'm still in my regiment. I'm still working out as if like we got an Elite 8. I'm still on that same type time of how I live my life, and I still am on that type. So like, now I gotta go to work in the morning. But I'm still living this regiment, accountability, how I'm gonna handle motherfuckers, how I'm gonna interact with people. That's still how I am, and he ain't that no more. And I didn't understand mental health at that point or whatever, but like when we now tell a story of like I told y'all how like basketball players when they basketball leave, what really who the fuck really are you? Like, cause basketball was your thing. That's how you fucked bitches your whole life. That's how you was cool your whole life. That's how you got into the place your whole life. That's why you was who you was. But like
identity crisis for a lot of
if you lose that, what you doing, you coping, you trying to overcompensate in other ways, you looking weird. Yep. Yeah. And like that's what I was seeing in real life. And I didn't know. Like I'm in school. When you in school, you away from your life. You away from your family. You don't know. You like in that world. You fully, and I was fully being that motherfucker, right? Yeah. Like at school. So I was disconnected. But so like we just clashed. And I tell a funny story. Like my niggas Keith and Ronnie know this, right? And think about this. Y'all niggas already know. Like so the Concourse had just came out the second time. And my brother ain't had this is like a funny story because this is a funny part. He ain't had no the respect or like the how you handle a nigga about some Concourse, nigga. Like if you from our culture, the Concourse motherfucker, you don't wear another nigga Concourse. Nah. And you damn sure don't wear them motherfuckers before that nigga wear his Concourse.
Oh no. You don't wear nobody Concourse.
Niggas get smoked for some shit.
You go get your ass.
I stood in line for 9 hours to get the Concourse and didn't get them.
I came home one day.
But it still was like a good try. 9 hours, a good try.
But I came home one day, the motherfucker had my Concourse on with a fit on, was like, you fucking with it and walking on his toes.
Oh my.
I like, we gotta We gotta get it in.
Yeah, no,
we
facts.
has to
Nah,
get
facts.
it in.
Nah,
Like
facts.
so, that sounds like some minute shit, but that shit was like,
No,
what
it's
the?
real deal.
You don't
That's how
even
it's gotta
respect
go.
me as a man.
That's how it's gotta go.
That's
It
huge.
got-
That's
it gotta
huge.
go.
It's that serious.
And so
huge.
like those the type of little and like my niggas was tripping like yo that nigga wildin' like and we kind of laughed it all, but that shit was
That
for
was
real.
huge.
in the
bro.
moment, that's some serious shit.
But
After the moment, that's some serious
yeah, like
shit.
so, I'm still trying to type out that shit, but he did way worse shit.
Yeah, bro.
But it transitioned into like real shit. So like I'm working at his company now, and how he just was handling like the people there was just like crazy. Like shit, like they supposed to get paid on Friday. Payday. He'll come and be like, hey, you had turned that paper in late at the end. We like you getting half your check today, like shit like that.
God
and like
damn.
he's still moving around where they moving around at. So like that'll happen, and then like they'll see him in the strip club. Then like that night throwing $10,000. So people just like, bro, what the fuck type shit. So this one night, and this was like the moment when I was like, I gotta figure out life outside this. I was cool with all the employees, and so it was shout out to Brittany. She was one of the employees. Me and her was close. We in stadium. Y'all ever been to stadium before?
Yeah, I've been one time.
I haven't been.
Yeah, I've been one time.
Great time, right? Great time. But this wasn't a great time. I'm with my brother and his friends. I leave to go to the bathroom, and if you know how like it's set up, we like in like the lit section. It's like
Yep.
Shy just getting lit. Like I remember meeting Shy. He was like he's still a little nigga, but he was just like only in DC then, and like it was like other lit whoever the fuck was like out there. We like having shit like that. I mean they like having shit. I'm just a little nigga like. Damn, y'all throwing 10 bags, let me get 500. I'm like that little nigga. But I had to go pee. So I leave this section. I'm going to the bathroom.
You had to walk through all that.
I had to walk
Yep.
through. You know how
I
crazy
know.
it is. So I'm like,
Yep.
a nigga, like a you know a DC nigga when you know a DC nigga, right? Like I'm a Richmond nigga, you know a DC nigga.
You know a DC
Dread nigga, this and that
Yep.
third. Nigga
Yeah.
tap me like,
Phone pauses, probably.
yeah, phone, yeah, all that type shit. Nigga like, hey Holmes, like come here. I'm like, I don't know you, like. You know, type shit. I'm trying to get to the bathroom. He's like, nah, come here right quick. So I'm like, what's happening? He was like, I'm gonna just shoot you down the middle. Like, your brother, like, on my shit, right? Like, nigga, like, what's happening? Like, I'm not even fucking with my brother, but
You get
that's
defense
internal.
mode.
Like,
You get
I'm
defense
internal. Like, you know
mode,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like, y'all niggas couldn't be at odds, but if y'all go outside this house and the nigga motherfucking, you like, nah, nigga, what's happening type
Yeah,
shit.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
so that's my energy. Nigga, like, nah, you might want to calm that shit down, like, cause like, I smoke all y'all niggas in this motherfucker. I'm like, word. So,
Hey, bro, but the nigga come off that
yeah,
cool,
like,
he'd do it.
Yeah, DC nigga, and he was some shit niggas. He was,
Nick, when they come off that cool, if he say it
like
like giving
that,
you a chance to
like-
be like, hey, calm
yeah,
down,
so,
bro.
you
Even
know-
about that, if he say it like
Yeah, I'm
that,
like,
you gonna take him for his word. For sure.
so like, I'm like, like I'm still like, nigga, fuck, I'm still like, the fuck, whole time I'm like, oh shit, like, cause we ain't ready for that. In this mother. I know these niggas ain't ready for that. He like, yeah, like the way y'all handling my girl, like my fiance or something, like y'all think that shit gonna go like that? And that week, my brother had did the paycheck type shit, and he had been doing this all the time. He was like, I bet y'all don't get up out of here, and I better have her bread type shit. He was like, so like, yeah, y'all, I bet y'all don't get up out of here. So I'm still in. I still got my prize. The nigga still just can't run down on me type shit. So I'm like, nigga, what the fuck you? I'm kind of stalling. Like, like ain't nobody goddamn. You know what I mean? I'm
There's so many
like,
people in there, anybody
yeah.
see you.
He like, yeah, like so, like y'all figure that shit. Like it's like it's on that. Like it's up type shit. And I could. They had been laying on niggas the whole night. Like, yeah, we see exact. Like, you know what I mean?
He
like,
throwing money in
They
there
are.
in the
They already
bathroom.
like, yeah, them the niggas right there. And like, I happen to be the nigga that left them niggas and was like, yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
I'm
they
gonna let
was
y'all
watching
know.
you whole time.
Figured it. Like they laying down on niggas.
Yeah.
Brittany come like out of the girl, his fiance that's like my man's. Like this my man's. So she come over like, I forgot his name, like, nah, babe, like, nah, he good. It ain't him. I promise. He like, nah, he like, think on that moment.
He don't care.
Yeah, like you just a girl, like back the
Yeah,
fuck up. Like
yeah.
back the fuck up. This nigga versus nigga type
Yeah.
shit. And she like, gee, nah, like, like she telling him like, nah, babe, nah. So she's so adamant. It got at first he was like, back the fuck, like I smack back the fuck up, like being a girl's place. Cause like if I'm in that moment and my girl like, nah, I'm like, bitch, back the fuck, like
sure,
play your space. So it's in that moment, I'm kind of like, nah, keep telling this nigga, like, get figure this shit the fuck. So she was so adamant. She was so adamant. He was like, what the fuck? And so like, they kind of walked down. I went to the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom like, oh shit. Like, I don't, you know what I mean?
still had to pee,
Yeah, I
but
still had to pee.
I'm
But you
thinking
said
about that
reflected
shit.
on
Yeah,
that
I'm
shit.
like, these niggas come in here, get at me type of shit. So I come outside, cuz like, damn, my home's like, you know what I mean? Like, he really like,
Thought about it. And
yeah,
shit.
like, I guess she's just like, nah, like, type shit. Cause she like, home was like, come in. He was like, bro, like, you gotta understand, like, woo, woo. And I'm just like, I can't be like, hell yeah, fuck that nigga. Cause now I'm looking weird, like, ain't you look? So I'm kind of like, it's good, home. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
let me go talk.
let me
to
try
brother.
to figure this shit the fuck out, type shit. I get back to the section, like, hey, bro, come here. I'm still a little nigga amongst my brother and his friends and everything. They like, bro, hold on, like, nigga.
How old are you at this time?
I'm 22, 3.
Okay,
I'm
so he's still 30. Okay.
and these niggas
Yeah.
mid-30s, 40, you know, type
yeah.
shit. They just like, nigga, sit back, nigga, take these ones, shut the
Yeah,
fuck up, type shit. I'm
yeah.
like, nah, come here, like, come here. They gonna kill y'all, type shit. So I finally got like the nigga, my brother attention. Was like, hey, bro, like, Brittany's in here. Her nigga and his niggas is like, nigga is up, type shit. He like, man, fuck. He like, fuck them, nigga, broke ass nigga. I'm gonna give her a little fine, like that type shit. I'm like, Holmes, it ain't the principle. Yeah, that ain't
bruh.
like, you want some different
bruh.
type shit.
Handle that.
He like, man, like, we having shit. Like, shut up. I got up out of there, and I don't know how, but nothing happened. Right, nothing happened, and like, I remember getting back to the crib. We still living together at this point. I was just like, I gotta get the fuck up out of here, cause I'm attached to that. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in situations, nigga about to blow my fucking head off, and so like, and I'm with all that, but like, cuz right, like the nigga, the shorty,
everybody
nigga right.
ain't gonna have everybody gonna have that situation where they can reflect and be
the
like,
nigga
my bad.
right, the nigga is dead ass right, cause before we even got in that situation, I'm telling him like, bro, stop handling the employees like that. Like, why you and we got bread. I'm seeing the bank account like, bro, it's 500,000. Why are you doing that?
Yeah.
Like, stop doing that. And so that's when I started my journey of like transitioning from that.
But hold on, you was because your job, part of your job was the financial stuff, right?
Yeah, like, so paychecks, but like he was doing shit like, yo, this the paycheck for shorty. I'm like,
you seeing it because he handling it, but
like,
you
I'm
seeing
like,
it like, hold up, that shit
you
ain't
fucked up right. He was like, nah, I'm only giving her that.
Right,
so like,
right.
I'm going to the people that I fuck with. Like, this the joint he gave me. They like, gee, this ain't. I'm like, I tried to tell. Like, that's the position.
Why they ain't leave? Why you think they ain't leave?
Cause the job was just fucked up, and they still won't. It was a good job.
Okay.
And they just was like, you know, it was a fun job. They got to work with kids and provide these services or whatever. So they, you know, and I kept a lot of people there.
Okay.
I kept a lot there, like, bro, I promise
sweet.
I'm gonna get them together type shit. And so our relationship just went left, bro. We ended up fist fighting. I ended up moving out, and how I ended up moving out was like Keith's mama died. I got her tatted on me. She was like my second mom, and that was like the first time ever experiencing like death that close.
Mm-hmm.
And that moment had happened middle of the night. We were staying in Bowie. Keith called me, and I knew it's crazy. That weekend I was home, and me, Keith, I don't know who else with us, but we had went out, and we like, you know, you leave. You know, y'all know, like, we about to leave his mama. We at this crib. We like pre-game. She like, y'all niggas stay out of trouble. Like that, I had saw her, and then like we had went out that night, and then like the next day I had like went back to Maryland, and like he called me like that Wednesday and was like, bro, I'm at MCV. Like the doctor like called her, but she about to die. It was like 3:00 in the morning. So I ain't go in my brother's room and tell him this, that, and the third. I just hopped on the road, and I remember getting to MCV. The sun was up, and sitting on the floor at the door. Where, you know, and I remember the doctor coming in, and I'm seeing Sel and Keith got a big ass family. Like, they got the biggest family ever. We all in the hallway, but like my point of view was like weird. It was like some movie type shit. I remember closing the door, and I remember seeing Keith's face, and like they closed the door, and like she ended up dying. And it's just weird timing. I remember getting a text message at that moment, like sitting on the floor at MTV, and my brother was like, "Where the fuck you at? You supposed to be at the office down the third." And in the office, I ain't do shit but like press holes and paperwork and shit like that. And I'm like, bro, like Keith, you know, like, hold on, like Keith mama just died. I just came there, like, literally, he was like, give a fuck about Keith mama. Like, she don't pay you. Like, fuck her. And I'm just like, bro, I'm talking about Keith. I ain't talking about like some little bitch I know. Like, it's Keith, like, it's Keith. He like, that ain't your fucking brother. Like, it was just like, he was just, that's where it had got to. And he was like, your shit on the porch. We was in a little bullshit ass apartment. And that was the moment just like, nah, it's up. I'll kill this nigga type shit. I went, got back. I ended up getting my shit.
Was it outside on the porch for real?
Yeah, no.
Oh, shit.
I knew a nigga that was standing in the projects, actually went to firm, was a friend of Keith that went to firm. And he was like, bro, like, this my spot. Like, his mom had died like a year before that. And like the projects was like, yo, like your mom just died. You can have this for like 2 years or something. And, you know, like it was a spot where niggas keep it like niggas, this where niggas, everybody in the hood come cook up their work, their coke and shit. Like this was that spot, and that's where I was living at. And so he was like, bro, you can come up here in my hood. This their projects. He was like, I introduce you to niggas, and you could just stay here. And I'm like
that shit better than the situation you was in.
Yeah, like that's how bad my situation was out. He was like, bro, niggas gonna be coming to the door. They gotta cook their shit up and everything. I'm just like, damn, I'm just standing at the fucking where niggas cook their work. But like that's what I did.
Yeah.
And I had made up this goal that like I'm gonna stay here, get this bread with my brother, but I'm gonna save all my money up. I'm gonna save up $20,000 and find somebody to help me open my own mental health company. And that's what I did.
So when did and I know you go through this in the book, but for the people listening, like I said, the feds.
Yeah. So
I mean, when did that happen?
So I did that. I saved that money, got a consultant, started my own company, and then Houston came about. Then I transitioned to Houston. I mean, Houston, me and my brother relationship has like stopped. We stopped talking. I don't even interact with my brother no more. I mean, Houston, me and Ronnie go through that ugly space. I just told y'all, I got Houston rocking. Bro, I'm making 20 bands a week. A week, not month, a week.
At what, 25?
Yeah, 24, 25, 20 bands a week. My mans that came out here, $200,000 nigga. Like, bro, like, you made that sacrifice, like $200,000 nigga, boom. My mom started working. He go 8 bands a month. I started getting phone calls from like the girl Brittany, people that was still up there in Northern Virginia working with my brother. It was like, yo, the feds coming through this and that third. I'm like, damn, that shit crazy. I ain't got shit to do with that shit. And she like, this shit crazy. Like it's like the feds are in town, like going through all this type of stuff. And you know, I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't have shit to do with that shit. And you know, the book give a lot more detail, but my brother got in a situation where he just started doing fraud. He was stealing people's social security numbers, billing for them, Medicaid fraud. And they came down on him, and he made a decision to throw my name in it for, you know, probably jealousy reasons, because I left and I started my own thing. I'm basically rich now.
Yep.
I retired our mother. My mama just getting 8-10 bands a month just cut off the scrim. That's what the fuck you supposed to do.
Yeah. I can't wait till I can do that for my mom.
Yeah. So. And so feds came, and then the feds started coming closer. They ran down on Keith. They called Aaron one day. Me and Aaron in my office. He now got a desk right beside me. They call him. He like, oh, this the feds. I'm like, damn, what the fuck they calling you? That shit crazy. They like, yo, did you know? Do you know who Lamar? Like all his friend, who my friends at this and that third. And at the end, it was like, yo, do you guys know about George Johnson? And you know, Ronnie a real Southside motherfucker. He like, no, I don't know. Yeah. I heard that nigga before, like that type shit. You know,
like, looking at him.
Yeah,
I heard him before. Winking and shit.
And you know, the way the feds work, they just was lining me up. Like going operating with everybody, trying to get stuff from everybody around me, and they called me one day and was like, "Hey, like you need to get an attorney and everything," and it was up at that point.
What was you feeling when you got that call? I know you talk about it in the book, but like,
was that a war that you wasn't familiar with?
Bro, I'm fighting the feds.
Because at this point, you done been through so much in your life. But this shit a whole different level.
I can't even articulate to y'all motherfuckers what that felt like, right? Because that phone call I just told y'all, it was a 4-year battle after that phone call. But like that day, like you only get one first, right? Like that first day the feds called me.
Yeah.
It ain't even nothing, and it's not ever one. I won't wish that on nobody because them people just flip your life upside down, bro. You know, they started running down on my mom. They took my bank accounts. My credit score, I had an 805. I went down to like a 450. They do things that people don't understand, like to just fuck your life up. They started running down in my office in Houston. It was a day that Ronnie hit me like, yo, you coming to the office? I'm like, yeah. It was either Ronnie or my other business partner. It was like, you come to the office? He was like, do not come. Turn the fuck around. Like, the feds is in my office in Houston. And I had to get an attorney. The attorney I got to sit down with him was 50 bands. And for him to figure out what was going on, we figured out that it was my brother. And we started to fight. And, with the feds, the way it works is that you ain't supposed to go against them. My first meeting with the feds, I sat down there and they was like, they staged it as if come in and just, maybe we got some stuff confused or whatever the case may be, we can figure this shit out. And it was a spoof. I came and sat down and they had all these files. There's 11 of them motherfuckers, the police behind me. I'm with my attorney. And they basically was like, yeah, we know we were saying you come in here, but like it ain't really nothing for you to say. We already got our stuff right here. All these files right here. We got everything we need to lock you up, and we're gonna give you 8 years, but you can take a plea right now. This the plea. Sign it right now. You could do 4 years. I'm like, what the fuck are y'all talking about? And I remember asking my attorney like, what is this? And the attorney I had at the time, this is before I got the one that cost $50,000. He was like, bro, look like they got what they need. Like you might need to just take the plea. I'm just like, what the fuck? I don't even know what the fuck they talking about. And so I fired him, got another attorney, and then we started fighting. And it took 2.5 years. I remember this monkey was on my head like for that whole time. And my attorney called me one day and was like, you sitting down? I'm like, yeah. He was like, I got a call from Garnett. Garnett is the head prosecutor, and people can look this up, in the Southern District in Richmond, whatever. And he was like, Garnett called me and they was like, yeah, they gonna go their separate way. Like they're not gonna press no charges on you, this and that, third. I'm like, bro, for 2 years they did that, and they just called and was like, yeah, never mind. Fucked up my credit, kicked me out of Wells Fargo, and just be like, yeah, never mind. And it's because they never really had nothing. They just had my brother lying, and thinking that my brother did that bitch ass shit. They gonna meet me. I'm gonna just come sign my life for 4 years. And at that point, I was like probably like $150,000 in fighting that shit.
And they came back though, right?
Yeah. So like, that day, the next day, I woke up, brought a Range Rover, brought a Corvette. Nigga, we have beat the feds. I beat the feds.
We good.
Beat the feds. 6 months go by, and we left out a crucial part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we'll get to that part. Good. Yeah, but now we can get to that. They came back, and then they had another case, and then it was involving my other brother, who was my tax preparer. But just to wrap that up, before we get to that part, because I want to kind of make it quicker. That battle, right? That stress that I was living under, I'm trying to put emphasis on it and really try to take somebody there. Like me and my lawyer couldn't talk on the phone, so I'm commuting. I'm going back and forth, flying back and forth from Richmond to Virginia. I could get to Houston in 2 days. He'd be like, we got to talk. I had to fly back. And so that mental toll, and we talk about hitting this wall, it was a mountain that, I had been getting through all these walls, whatever the case may be, but it was the first time in my life that I really fell apart. But my pride and just like who I was to everybody around me, I was still trying to be like, nigga, y'all just saw me do this, that, and third. Like, I'm gonna get through this too. And but really I was fucked up. A lot of shit that I did, like it got to a point where I realized that my brother really was gonna do that bitch ass shit. I flew to DC, left my phone in Houston because I know how trackers working and binging off towers. I sat outside my brother's house for 2 days, like with 2 guns. And like he never came home. I don't know where he was at, but like, and I don't even know what the fuck I was gonna do. But something was gonna happen. Yeah. And think about it, I hadn't spoke to him or seen him in like 3-4 years. And I knew what was going on. I saw the paperwork, I saw what was going on. I stayed out that bitch, like, and like I don't, think But this story probably would have ended up a little different if he had came home, because I would have had to get off on the
You was on,
like,
what you saw was red, so you didn't know
like,
what you would have done.
Yeah, and so like mentally, that was where I was at. And the part that I said, my book, and I told y'all, like, I ain't really have a platform to speak on this because of how touchy it is, and everybody else's platform ain't really fit for that. But nigga had 2 kids at the same time, like 2 weeks apart. My daughter, I got a 3-year-old daughter now. Her birthday is 4/4. My son's birthday is 3/18. And I kind of speak about how I got knowledge of it in the book. But the truth is, nigga I was just getting, I was now, how in school I was coping with the mental stuff with basketball. I'm a grown up now. I got a lot of money. Motherfucker, I'm getting fucked up just to deal with what I'm living in. And like, this ain't like a week.
Yeah.
This is going off this is my life fighting the feds for 4 years. And the girl that I was dealing with in Houston got pregnant. The girl that I was dealing with in Richmond got pregnant. And think about how I felt betrayed at that moment, this not that. Like, why the fuck would y'all want to have a shorty? Shorty pregnant. Like, why the fuck? They made that decision, and it's cool now because it paid off. How it paid off, and they good moms, and my relationships with them. It ain't the dopest. I'm gonna keep it a bean with niggas, but like, they good moms. So like, that's really all I can ask for. Yeah. And like, we can communicate to get the job done. Yeah. But that shit really happened. So like, now add that in the midst of now I'm fighting the Fed. I'm talking about like baby shower, like damn, Instagram that baby shower, Instagram that like real shit. Yeah. And thing about point of view is a lot of people is like, damn, you about to have 2 kids at the same time, whole time. I was like, but I don't give a fuck about them. I'm dealing with a whole, and niggas ain't understand like what you dealing with this bigger than, like, bro, I'm about to be gone for 10 years. Like, I don't think I'm like, not fuck them kids, but like, bro, I ain't even think about that shit right now. That shit is minute. Niggas like, how the fuck is that minute? Yep. And it really was. And so to come back up to where, I actually, I beat them, they came back in 7 months with a whole nother case. And that same attorney was like, hey, now they got another case. And my other brother had became an informant and worked with them to basically say that the charge that I had to end up folding on, because now, I'm like $500,000 in now fighting the feds. And, it's a race who can run out of money first. Them motherfuckers print money. Yeah. I don't print money. I really got to get to it. And so they had put me in a situation where went to my brother. He was my tax preparer. And it's crazy because I'm going to give some more context because every nigga that did this. I had 3 jobs when I first came out of school, like little nut ass jobs, and one of them never gave me a W-2 or a 1099. And so when I went to my older brother, which was a tax preparer, I was like, yo, I worked for so and so, but like they didn't give me nothing. He was like, oh, don't worry about that shit. Like, don't worry about that shit. Like,
shit. Yeah. I heard that shit sometimes too.
And so, feds, because once you beat the feds, they like, we gonna figure out you stole that piece of Snickers that one time in 5th grade, and we gonna charge you 10 years for that shit. Yeah. Like, that's where it had became. And so, they had came up with a case and went to my tax preparer, happened to be my older brother, went to him and was like, look, did George tell you about this income? It was like for fucking $50,000. I mean, like, it was like for $50,000 that basically they say I ain't unclaimed. And they basically, the way the feds work, they leverage themselves. They be like, look, if you don't work with us, we're going to take your company, give you 3 years for doing these taxes wrong. If he told you about this job that he had, my brother took the approach to be like, no, I ain't never even know about that job. And the irony is that the job that they referenced was a job that he gave me. And he worked with the company, that or whatever the case may be. So he became an informant. He worked with them. He had been working with them.
That's crazy.
He was like the piece that was like keeping me strong when I was going through what I went through with my other brother. Like, bro, fuck him. If we see that nigga, we gonna fuck him up. Nigga, I'm your big brother for real. Like, I'm the solid one. And I was the one, he was the one I was consoling with, like, damn, big bro, like, I can't believe, Ma did that to me. And the whole time, he had became an informant. And so, when I went to federal court down Broad, right across the street from the federal building, people don't even know it's right down Broad.
Oh, yeah, I know exactly where it's at.
Yeah, the big building.
Big building,
tall he came in with the feds and was getting on the stand. And so I kind of, my lawyer was like, let's fold, is take the charge. The charge that I had to take was subscribing to a false document. So that's not tax fraud, because tax fraud is like you don't file your taxes. It's you filed your taxes, but you left off some income, which everybody. Right. So and they was trying to give me 3 years for that shit.
God damn.
And so my lawyer was like, look, let's just take the charge. It's a F, right? I had to put a F, a felony on my shit, and let's try to not get time. And so, you know, a lot of things happen for me to get house arrest. And so that's what I took.
Did you, I always wanted to ask after reading, you ever talk to your first attorney, like after you fired him? Did he ever reach out to you like, bro, my bad? Okay. He never even cared.
Never reached out. And so, you know, and then, like I said, in conclusion, you know, my book, that's a crazy story, right? Just to debrief. But what happened in the midst of that, right? Like, I ain't even realize. I struggled with depression. And how I knew I had depression was Aaron been knowing me my whole life. At that point, we was living together, and in the midst of that Fed stuff, I was out. I've been working out every day, or at least every other day for my whole life since like middle school. And it was times throughout there, like I was just in my room for like weeks and months. And I remember Aaron coming to my door one day, was like, bro, you good, bro? If you know Aaron, like, nigga, what the fuck wrong with you type shit? I'm like, bro, I'm just chilling. He was like, bro, you been working out since I've been knowing you since we was like 10. You ain't hit me to go to the gym, nothing like that. And I'm like, damn. And it was just one day that I went to go work out by myself. And I warm up on the bench press, like just the bar, just to warm up. This one day I went in the gym and I couldn't lift the bar. Now I can my one rep max is 2 plates, like 205. Like 2 plates on both sides. Like, I mean,
that's good.
That's having shit.
That's good. Yeah.
I couldn't lift up the bar. And I remember like damn, I'm tripping. Let me get a little snack. Maybe I ain't eat my little snack or some shit. So I went to the front. Y'all know how like I went and got a little bar and like a little Gatorade. I was like, man, my playlist ain't hitting right. Let me get my little, put Miko on or some shit. I got that together. I'm like, let me get back over this motherfucker. And I literally couldn't lift the bar. And I was like, oh shit. You know, remember Space Jam when you lost all your muscles, shit like that? I was like that. And I remember sitting in the car just like, oh shit.
Lost your powers at that point.
Yeah, and like what that was, you know, I was depressed. And so like, you know, people don't know when you go through those spaces, like you literally, your mind can't fucked up. Like you can't even activate certain shit. Yeah. And you know, just when I look back after that whole journey and I was like now on federal house arrest, my family then kind of fell apart, right? Because it was people in my family that was like running with my, like, you know, took sides or whatever the case may be, and they played out that they was informants. And so like, y'all know me, like, like fuck them, right? The relationship with my mom had became strained because my mom's still a mom, right? That's still her son. So she was still trying to have some kind of relationship. I'm just like, what the fuck wrong with you? Type shit. I really remember telling my mom, like, what the fuck type shit? You with them? Type shit. So that strain and you know, just I don't really have no family no more. Like these the people I just told y'all what my brother was. I wanted to be him. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so mentally it just left me just like, damn, bro. Niggas, I got to the end of that 4.5-year fight. I'm on federal. I ain't walk out where I was living at for 1.5 years. I done started. I got 2 new kids that was just basically out of just what I was going through then. My family kind of gone. And I was fucked up. And so, you know, therapy is what I kind of started attending. Like, you know, at the community, we part of therapy. Like, that ain't no shit. Like, fuck, I'm going to therapy and type shit.
You always was that person. I mean, we talking about the whole episode here, pushing through. Like,
yeah, like, you don't need no fucking therapy. Like, just tighten that shit the fuck up. Like, come on, push through.
Push through.
But it was the first time in my life where it was some other shit I needed. I couldn't just pick myself up. I was struggling. And, you know, and that's really why, you know, my story, it's like a lot of personal shit, right, that people kind of would keep in. But why I just was like, man, I'm going to push through and write a book because that's something that niggas wouldn't think I would do. And that aligns with everything in my whole life. Like, nah, figure that shit out. Like, let's get through it. And I was like, I'm going to choose to tell my story, but shine a light on this mental health component because niggas ain't talk about it in the community. You guys, I'm still tapped in with the hood. All my little niggas been shot. 2 of my niggas just got killed 2 months ago. Everybody popping perks to deal with shit. You know what I mean? Like, niggas ain't going to therapy. That shit ain't even really sound like no cool, dope shit. But, like, it's something that I'm doing, and that's why I started sharing on my social media. Like, I'm really putting, like, my therapy sessions and shit on there. Like, with my real therapist. Yep. And that's how I started rolling out my content and stuff. So niggas like, what the fuck? That's G with a therapist?
Yeah.
And like, what the fuck going on? And so like, I knew that was gonna be different. It ain't like bitches twerking, it ain't niggas getting buckets. It's like some different shit. And you know, that's kind of like how, you know, I chose to share my book. And to finalize everything, I wanted to shine some light on like some of the good, mad bad shit came out of this, but like that year. And this goes to the mindset and just that year that I was like, damn, I ain't in the feds, I ain't on camp nowhere in the federal penitentiary, but like I'm on house arrest. What I'm gonna do? I'm gonna just sit in the house arrest and be on Instagram. Now the feds took my Instagram, but like, am I gonna make another Instagram and just sit in the house and be like, look at everybody, like I'm on federal house arrest, or take this year and just like be the most productive ever? And that year on federal house arrest, bro, like I started 3 businesses. I learned more shit that I ever learned. Ever. I got more in tune with just the mental side, like how to like just shit that I never even tapped into. And like literally that year on federal house arrest was the most productive just as a person, like, of my life. Yeah. Cause the type of focus you have, if you never got the chance, if you was in here for a year, the type of shit that you gotta do to like, you know, maintain, and it's two ways to go about it. Like, it's 2 ways. You can sit in the bitch and be like, damn, bro, like, what happened at the club last night? Or just be like, fuck all that. Let me use these tools, the internet, to learn some shit, this and that. And that's what I did. I was like, yo, fuck what's going on out there. I'm gonna just like lock in. I'm gonna work out every day. I put a ritual in place. I'm gonna still wake up. I'm gonna go downstairs, work out.
You went back to the same stuff that happened.
Went back to the same shit,
hooping.
and it was like every day I'm gonna learn something. So like I really had a notepad that I was like, what I'm gonna learn today. If it was something big, if it was something small, something in business, what I'm gonna start today. Like, let's start a business every day. Imagine like for 300, I'm gonna start a business every day. Imagine kind of focus and like what happened, and get to track that. Because when you outside, you get lost in it. Like, damn, like, you know, like, we got some bitch, we going here, this, not third. You be like, but you can't do that. And like, I kept that kind of focus that we had in the gym. That kind of just streamlined, like, nah, this is what I'm gonna do. And I did that.
Fast forward to today. Have you gotten to a space mentally where you were able, and this is what I told you I wanted to share the quote with you. Have you gotten to the space mentally yet that you were able to talk to your brothers?
Nah, I'm not there. But I have transitioned to, you know, for a long time, it was like, if it's up, if I see them, it's so up. And like, and ain't nobody gonna be able to give me up. But like, the energy that I'm gonna have on them, on my hands on them, is gonna be so crazy.
Have they tried to reach out to you?
Nah. Cause they been knowing my whole life. They know my personality. They know that, like, bro, if you ever hit my motherfucking phone, like, type shit. Okay. But what I have transitioned to is that, fuck them. Like, cause me living in that space gonna hold me back. What I got to do. Yep. And I told you, I referenced like being in that moment, just like so much shit. Like the way I look at it is like, be better, like be more successful. That's gonna kill that shit. Cause they gotta that ain't gonna go nowhere, bro. Like, you a big brother. You went and became a informant and lied to help yourself out. I feel like that's gonna eat you up forever, bro. Like, you could be 70 years old, like, bro, I did the most coward shit. Yeah,
it's gonna stay in their life forever.
So much shit.
That transitions right into what the quote that helped me. I know just hearing kind of hearing your answer. So I know it's still levels. You know what I'm saying? So, but there was a quote in your book. You said, there's no greater weight that can be carried within the human soul than anger for someone who wronged them. So, so touching on that, bro, I'm in a space right now where, and me and Zeke talk about this all the time. We remember all the motherfuckers who wronged us, right? And touching into the mental health piece, I'm just like you, where I didn't really, not to say I didn't believe in therapy and mental health, right. But again, coming from where we come from, that ain't a thing. It's not a thing that you even know who to ask about it. You just internalize it yourself. So I'm battling, trying to quote unquote forgive those who wronged me, but I'm trying to find a different way. I think you answered my question. It's just be better. Yeah. Because they got to live with that.
They got to hold that.
Because at first I'm like, damn, am I not doing what I'm supposed to do? Am I still carrying this? But I think transitioning from that to just trying to be better is going to help me ultimately.
That's a fact. And how I flip it, bro. Like, if I did what they did, bro, and y'all, everybody gonna be able to relate to this. Bro, we talk about basketball niggas, right? Niggas get on social media like, yo, look at my house, like I hit a nigga with this and I did this. And like that's what happened. And like the bitches was around and this, that, and that, third. But like you really stunk it up. And like you gonna get home and like when Shorty go home and you laying in your bed by yourself, you gonna be like, bro, I stunk it the fuck up. And so to translate that to like what my brothers did, bro, like they could be with their bitches, they could start getting money again. I don't know what the fuck they doing. But like, bro, at the end of the day, you get out that shower, you in the mirror, you gonna be like, bro, I'm a coward ass motherfucker, bro. Like you gotta sit with that. Sure. And you gonna get lost in moments because you could get drunk and like, you coping with it and like it ain't hitting you like that. But like at some point, you gonna have to sit down with yourself. The bitch you fucking ain't there, your whatever the case may be, and it's just gonna be you and you gonna be like, bro, I'm a coward, sure. Yeah. I'm a bit like on every level. And so I reference in that moment, like right, whatever that moment is, like a defining moment. Some people never get a defining moment. Some people get one defining moment. Mm-hmm. Some people get a bunch of chances to correct that defining moment. You never know. But that's a defining moment of like you fighting the feds. This an opportunity where like you gonna out your little brother, you gonna lie to, you know what I mean? That's something that I can't live with. Like look at all of these defining moments I spoke about, like that happened in my life, and it was just like I'm so glad my real true morals and principles of how I'm gonna play it really came out. Cause I'll be sick as a bitch if like, you know how sick I would have been if that moment I tell you about like we came out that little situation and nigga was getting robbed and nigga beat the shit on him and then I ain't go down and nigga got the shit beat on. I just was like, 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 you know what I mean? Like, you know, like, but look at how my life, I fucked up me going across season out there, but like, I live with like, I really ran down to help cuz. Like, would I be able to sit in the mirror that night? That's about that night I got home and like, I saw the nigga get his shit beat out on him. Niggas was like, yeah, we crushing your nigga. Like, and I got in the car and I'm just like, damn, they beat the shit out of you, Holmes. Like, and I got home and I won't drunk no more. And like, that morning I'm brushing my teeth, like, that shit crazy. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean?
You always wish you can go back at that point.
Yeah, like, and you can't, cause you can't do that no more. Like, you don't get that moment no more. And so, like, that's the thing that, like, true character, like, that's where I really stand myself on. Like, nigga, Zeke hit me, be like, do this shit. Like, you only get one, you know what I mean? Where I be like, nah, I can't do this one. I'll catch you in the back. Like, it wouldn't have been the first one. Yeah. Like, that's why I'm like, nah, nigga, whatever I gotta do, I'm here. Yeah. Cause you can't.
Bro, we appreciate you,
like,
bro.
So, that's my take.
Listen, y'all go get this book, man. The link will be in the description. You can also find it on Amazon. You know, as somebody who lived through some of the stuff that I read through the book, like being around George, like even me reading the book, man, I got so much from this book, man, and just hearing the story. You guys got to look inside of it on this podcast today, but like really go check the book out, man. And if you're somebody right now that, you know, whether you know what it is that you want to do or not, or you have a purpose or you're trying to find your purpose, the one thing that you want to take away from this is understanding that no matter what it is that you understand about who you are, like you're going to have to put some work in, you're going to have to hit a wall, and whatever wall it is, doesn't matter. Don't get caught up on what the wall is. Figure out how to push past it, because you got to understand there's going to be a bigger wall after that. So check out the book, man. George, let everybody know where they can find you at. You know, I know you have mental health businesses and you're in that space and you got a lot going on. Like, just let people know where they can find you, any resources that you have. Like I said, all the links for everything will be in the description, but just let people know what you got going on and where they can tap in with you.
Definitely, man. I'm easy to touch. I talk to a lot of people every day on Instagram. My Instagram is the number 2X cross. 2X crossed. You know, I'm easy to reach. I do a lot of stuff. I even connected a lot of people to therapists. A lot of people just read my book and was like, bro, that shit, that's some real shit. And I got resources to connect people, like, bro, chop it up with Shorty. And like, I pay for it. Like, cause people, you know, these people work for me. And so, you know, get the book on Amazon. I'm over 4,000 copies sold, independent. I don't have like nobody, you know, that's just me pushing it, just thugging it my way. And, you know, let me know how you think, you know, let me know how you feel about it.
Yeah, y'all check the book out, reach out to them. I know everybody that's gonna give it a shot is gonna get something from it, man. And
that's a fact.
You know, just to bring it back full circle, we really appreciate you being here, bro.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
hey, we appreciate you.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like this my brother right here, man. And the fact that we all come from the same place, and like even when we look at our friend circles, like me and Deuce, we grew up together, but like even me and your relationship, like when you come across people that just understand you cut from the same cloth, it just allows you to really get to a place in your life that no matter what happens, you can always come back. Like, bro, I ain't seen you in, it's crazy we even realize it now. It's been 10 years.
That's crazy.
But we come back and when we talk about this stuff,
it's the same because it's a real genuine.
It felt like we was just in the gym yesterday.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, I really appreciate you being here, man. Y'all check them out. Again, if you like the content, subscribe to Stat TV. Many more episodes to come. We're going to have a lot more people on here. We're going to bring George back. We got so much in store with the podcast. We got short films on the way. We got behind-the-scenes content. Tap in with us, man, From the 7 Podcast. Follow George at the number 2X Cross. You can follow me at Stat Zay. You can follow Deuce at _Deuce West. Make sure you like the video on the way out. We appreciate everybody tuning in. Make sure you leave a comment, reach out, show some love. Let us know what you thought about it. And we appreciate everybody tuning in, man. We'll catch y'all on the next one.
Tap in, man.
That's
From
a
the
lot.
7.
For sure.
Stat that.
Working on a weekend like usual. Way off in the deep end like usual. Niggas swear they passed us, they doing too much. Haven't done my taxes.